to keep the Raptors at arm's length in Toronto on their way to win number 6 in a row, 111-101. Jason Tatum, 19 points and 11 assists in the win, and the Celtics play in Detroit tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. In other NBA news, Luka Doncic played the Dallas Mavericks for the first time since the big trade last night. He had a triple-double of 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists as the Lakers beat the Mavericks 107-99. As for the Bruins, they took a brutal loss last night, 5-4 in overtime to Toronto at TD Garden. The Bruins led this one 3-1 and 4-3 in the third period, but couldn't hang on, and Mitch Marner scored the game winner on a breakaway at 4:08 of the OT. Marner scored twice for the Maple Leafs. David Pastrnak had a pair of goals for the Bruins. They've lost 4 in a row. They host the Islanders tomorrow night. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he expects the team to be aggressive in free agency.
I mean, we want to be aggressive. We want to target players that we feel like are going to help us. They're going to be outstanding players. They're going to be outstanding additions to the locker room and the community. And if that all fits and the compensation fits, but I'm confident that we'll be aggressive.
Executive Vice President of Player Personnel Elliott Wolf will speak to the media this afternoon. The Kansas City Chiefs said yesterday that at the moment they expect Travis Kelce to return next season. And the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday, 6-1. They play Tampa Bay today at JetBlue Park. Aroldis Chapman is expected to get his first work of the spring. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 with a 98% customer satisfaction rating and thousands of 5-star reviews. The choice is clear. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
Right, Toucher on Instagram. Follow and see dog humping videos.
And Hardy.
I'm going to withhold sex.
On 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Yo.
Can we use this for the radio?
What? Let me hear you say, oh. Na 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 na.
Crush me, mommy.
Just not enough booty to go around? Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the post. I'll chase you around a little bit.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Instagram.
I want to dip it in, boy.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Out. I also thought I'd probably get kicked out if I took it out.
Hey, good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Hey there.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Hi, how are you?
Say my name.
Isaac.
Hey there.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
I know, Isaac. Stop making me say your name.
Say my name.
We all know who you are. All right, Isaac. Do you want me to call our little nickname together Tweedle Thumbs? How's your grandmother's house?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that the naked guy in the trunk is there. Hey! We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. As always, you can watch this show live, and that is on YouTube. And then the show is up 24 hours a day, I guess forever. It's up there on YouTube, and then you can watch Joe's shows live at night. The other shows, there's clips, and there's Alex Barth is out at the Combine, and he's making videos for it. It's a lot of fun. 98.5 The Sports Hub. They're working very hard on it, the YouTube page, so subscribe to that. And know also that you could call us at 617-779-0985. And young Nicholas is not here today. He is apparently having his ticker looked at. We forget that Nick is so sickly that he at any moment could keel over. We forget about that. He's and it's genetic. It is his large bottom, but we forget about that.
Does his ample rump play a part in his ongoing health issues between the heart and the stroke and everything else he's
got to
had?
make his heart work harder to move all that mass around a little bit.
And just the blood that needs to flow through the butt cheeks.
That's what I'm saying.
Just to keep the flesh alive.
Yeah, it's like if he walks more than a few feet, his fingers get green. He almost gets gangrene because all the blood has to go to his swishing butt. But he went to this is before he was covered in feces. He went to a bachelor party in Dallas. Now you're saying, of course you go to your bachelor party in Dallas. Who wouldn't? That's where the fun is, Dallas. Is anyone in for Dick today?
Yes, Jake is in for
Jake
today.
is here.
All right, good. All right, because I saw the phone ring and I was. If there was no one here, I wasn't going to say anything.
We got Reese handling the phones.
We got an intern, too.
We got a whole room full of guys.
We're silly with people back there.
Silly.
Well, Reese has got to get on these phones quick.
He's taking care of it right now. He's talking to somebody.
Yeah, I know. But Reese, I got my eyes on him. This is pressure situation time for him.
Hey, this could be a new mentee situation. You play your cards right.
Oh,
Reese.
it's a good point.
Yeah.
It worked out so well the last time. Why not?
What worked out wrong? You said that sarcastically. What went
Not
wrong
at
with
all.
Isaac?
I think Isaac.
No.
has
Everything
benefited
you're
from
saying,
you too much.
admit what he's saying has a hint of sarcasm to it.
He's.
I don't know if if he knows he's doing it, but it sounds certainly sarcastic. I think everything went perfectly fine with Isaac. He's at Hofstra killing it. In fact, he took this internship, turned it into a TV internship in New York City. That's market number 1. And if I know Isaac, he's going to be on TV.
Mm-hmm.
If I know Isaac, he's
Well, if you know the business, it's I feel like we all know Isaac at this point. But if you know anything about showbiz, I think that's where you kind of focus in your knowledge and your expertise and your predictions here. That kid's going to be on the TV set.
Yeah, if you can see a picture of Isaac a few pictures ago, I have up at Fred Toucher on Instagram. I took him. He was literally guarding Nick's equipment as requested by me, because he'd take a bullet for me. And I heard The Bachelor was interested, not so much as him as a contestant or the Bachelor, but just the host. Oh. Inviting the ladies in. But there is some question, would the ladies fall in love with him instead of The Bachelor? And that's kind of the walk. Jesse Palmer did it, He was The Bachelor. But we'll see how that all goes. Yeah. Adam wants us to talk about this. I guess he wants everyone to hear about it, so maybe someone will call and help him.
Yes.
Adam, his car, his Subaru with 350,000 miles on it.
205, but
finally went kaput.
Yeah.
And he is now looking for a car. So if anyone could help him, there are some salespeople here that would be more than happy to take you to a dealership, have you meet everyone, spend a couple hours there, and then give you what the sticker price is for the car. So be careful on that. But there are people here that can help you. I know my ex-wife just bought an Audi, and Mary Mena helped her.
Well, you know
Fred,
me.
Fred, what do you mean, your ex-wife?
Big Audi guy.
Fred, what do you mean, your ex-wife? Yeah, I helped her.
Yeah.
Well, did you help her, or did you have our general manager help her?
Well, Mary helped her, but then I had to go to the dealership because the car was still in my name, and I had to do a lot of stuff and some wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, did you do some negotiating?
She actually would do that even when we were married. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't know what I'm doing. The big thing with me is that I know I'm not very smart. This is in all seriousness. I know I'm not very smart, so I just hate situations where someone could be taking advantage of that. And I don't even know what it's like at dealerships anymore. Like, I know the ones that we work. Certainly, the Audi dealership was great to Stephanie.
The only time it works is when, because I don't know either, when they start talking about certain things at a dealership, Like, okay, well, you could be right, you could be wrong. I'm not smart enough to know the difference here at this point. The only time it worked was way back in the day when there was a literal Kelly Blue Book. And you could look up the Blue Book price of a car based on the year and the miles. And I think this holds true even today. It only works if you can walk out of there without a car. And you can just walk away. And if you're in there and you're still sitting in the chair, then they've still got you. You haven't left yet. But, I mean, I don't feel like I've really gotten a great deal on a car that I haven't been, somebody that I knew since I was a kid, when I would just sit there and like, nope, it's got to be lower than that. It's got to be lower than that because this is Kelly Blue Book. And I say a kid like 20 years old buying my second or third car or something. And did walk out of a couple of places until I finally found a place that would sell me a car for what I knew in the literal book it was worth, plus a little bit for the dealer.
I've done the same,
Yeah.
All right, so you're getting rid of your Subaru, which was off-brand for you. So
I would have expected him to be like in a Corvette or a Hummer.
Well, the Subaru came with a tote bag, so he had to take that. And 5 coupons to the nearest farmer's market.
Yeah, I got to go to my mechanic and get my snowshoes and poles out of the trunk.
Oh, you left them in there?
Yeah.
You trusted him?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I got a good mechanic. He's the
It's
best.
like Hardy leaving the golf clubs in the trunk.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Dude, like they're still going to be there. Please. Those things are gone. You might have to go to the pawn shops.
Stop it.
Reese is going to have to put in what Zach wants to talk about. Reese is
Okay.
very behind the ball.
He's
today.
working on it right now.
Well, I mean, he's got to take a typing course. Come on. But you have a Subaru. What are you looking for now? Yeah, Hummer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have the Bronco gets 17 miles a gallon. That sounds up your alley?
No, I would do another. I'd do another
course you would.
Subaru.
Yeah,
if it's in the. Again, on
Do you
brand.
feel the
I'd like
freedom?
something to be. Yeah, so it's a Subaru summer. I know it's tough to talk about in late February, but no, I mean I would like here's the problem, Fred, is I loved my Subaru. It served me very well over the last 7+
Cherry red.
years. Okay, Steve Brule, take it easy.
Cherry red.
So, but I would love to drive a hybrid on brand. But the only Subaru hybrid is the XV Crosstrek, and they only made those for a few years. Those are tough to find. So,
What kind of budget were you looking for? Be serious.
seriously, I mean, I'm literally on these websites like clicking on the $15,000 and under. Like that's what I'm looking at here. So,
Would you be interested in now? Again, I think it's a little too new and probably too low miles, but a 6-year-old Ram 1500 with that. It's low miles. It's got about 92,000 on it right now, but it's down in the garage right now.
Yeah,
you can take that thing for a spin and see if you like.
Yeah,
that.
I've seen that. I'll pass on that, but thanks.
I heard that there's a mechanic that's got this Subaru with like 250,000 miles on it. Sell it back to you for $18.
There you go.
All right. So you're looking Subaru again.
I mean, I would like to, but again, I like something hybrid would be great. I was looking at the Hyundai has a.
Why don't you get a
the
Tesla,
Ioniq,
Adam?
which is, I'm not ready to go electric yet. I'm not ready for
I
that
would
yet.
think you would prefer electric.
I would prefer electric.
You're
but
always
again,
in here. You're always in here praising Musk.
But
Why
yes.
don't you get one of those Teslas?
He's got. Listen, he's getting rid of waste, man. You look at him.
How
going,
do you
swinging
explain
his chainsaw around?
all the
Moron.
Teslas being charged at the public library? Explain that to me, because how are these library people who are in Newton who are so progressive? The progressive people that have, through their whining, quite literally, gotten Trump elected for the second time, and that is the. Listen to James Carville talk.
Look at the stats.
That is exactly what it is. It's this hysterical Brookline nonsense that has completely ruined the public perception of the Democratic Party. You know that too.
Yes.
How do they spend so much time at the public library, but yet be charging their Teslas in the parking lot? You'll answer.
Well, that's what they did. It's the perfect place to have it because you can charge your electric car. You go into the library, you get a couple of books out.
But you know they're progressives.
How did these people?
How do they
in one hand give their
Yes.
money to Elon Musk, and then the other
I
hand
see.
show their public library card?
Are they all Teslas, or are we driving Volts and other electric vehicles as well? There are other electric vehicles out there.
I have not seen a Volt ever be charged anywhere, but they're pretty much Teslas.
And but see, it's funny. I see more of the Hyundai electrics now because Hyundai has they've taken a bunch of theirs and turned it electric.
Yeah, these progressives, they can't wait to hand their money over to foreign car companies.
Adam, if you believe everything you see on the TV show Landman, which of course I do, it is essentially documentary.
I don't know what that show is.
The resources required to make, power, and maintain electric vehicles actually leaves a larger carbon footprint than gasoline and internal combustion vehicles. Please respond to these allegations.
Well, at the moment, that's sure. I will believe that if that is what the research is saying. But the point is that we know that eventually we're going to have more electric vehicles, and eventually that technology will improve. That's why I'm waiting, because again, like I need something that has a greater range and that isn't as devastating to the environment.
In all seriousness, you're not going to have an option because even GM and Ford are planning not in the
distant future.
Thank you, John. Not in the not too distant future, planning to go almost all electric. So
we're going to have to.
Yeah, and I think the only reason that hasn't happened is because of special interests.
The fossil fuel lobby, absolutely, yeah.
But so here we are. You are looking for what? A 72 Camaro? If you could have any car, Adam, what would it have? What would you have?
Seriously, if I could have any car,
like an old bookmobile.
What was the one that they would show on TV? Sweet Pickles? Was that the little van that would drive around with the books?
I don't know what gay porn you're watching.
What the hell?
It was about a gay candy shop. All right, Adam. I'll leave you alone. But seriously, you need a car.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to reach out to Adam, if they have,
and then hit up the salespeople later on today.
Yeah. Mary helped Stephanie, so there you go. Mary, you can ask Mary Mena. She was very kind. She gave the information, and it was a very easy process. It's a client. It's whatever Audi dealer is on Route 9 in Natick. Zach, go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing? Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Marty, I got a question for you. So I went to Mass today. I'm working at Mass, and I had to go buy some Zins, and they only fucking sell. They only sell Chill. What's with that? What's with the Chill?
Well, they don't sell Zins at all. I can tell you this: they don't sell the brand Zin in Massachusetts at all.
No, I went to Cumbies, and they only sold Chill flavored.
Yeah. Right.
What the hell flavors Chill?
I can answer that. Okay, first of all, Massachusetts. What do you know?
Nothing.
No. Do you know?
I live on Rhode Island.
You're laughing because I might be interrupting.
No. You're fine.
Oh, okay. I can tell you they don't sell because when I go to my parents' house or Detroit, sometimes I'll get Zins, and they don't sell the brand Zin in Massachusetts. I don't know why, and they don't sell flavors in Massachusetts, and I guess that's the same way they don't sell flavored unless you know someone. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Unless you know someone, they don't sell flavored vapes too, which I guess I understand the vape thing, but
you go see Habib, they're gonna have like cotton candy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, this is crazy. It makes no sense. I wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work, and I gotta have Chill. Oh man.
Okay.
So, where did you find Zins at 5? What's open at 5 in the morning? I'm being dead serious.
Cumbies.
Oh, okay. Because
North Attleboro.
Yeah, because when I smoked and I would be coming into work very low on cigarettes, I couldn't find it. Oh no, in Dorchester there were plenty of places open. You just had to wear
scratching my neck like a psycho. It's awful, man.
Yeah, they don't sell flavors. There is a particular brand that I've been told is as close to Zin. It's like an orange tin. But
Zone, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to stop right now. I think you can buy the brand Zin in the state, at least according to their website. You can. Now, I've only had a Zin once when somebody gave me one, and they're delightful.
I thought you were. You were a doer.
No, I'm a lozenge guy and some other products. But,
so you do pouches, just not that brand.
No, I don't do pouches. I mostly do lozenges.
He does. He's smoking vapes and eating lozenges, dude.
It's a constant stream of nicotine. I never.
Right now. Do you care if I say?
No.
Right now.
Go to CVS and chew the gum.
Oh no. So at a lot of times, right now, it's kind of a low. Hardy, you know him. Everything is in a line. Like he's got to put everything in a line.
My banana, I have my granola bar, my keys, wallet, my vape, and my.
So often today it's just his lozenges and a vape, but sometimes he'll have lozenges in 2 vapes next to him. It is my kids have been here before, or my daughter, and they're fascinated by the sheer. Oh no! Now he's pulling them all out. Yeah, he's got like.
Honey, what do your kids think of you, man? What do they think of you?
You kind of hide it from your kids.
I hide it from my kids now. They must have
that's
seen
no
it
good,
at some
man.
point.
But
the lozenges I don't.
Your father?
No, the lozenges I don't. And for years, you can go back as probably one of their earliest memories is me asking them, hand daddy his get right pills. And those are what I call my lozenges.
Lozenge? What?
It's a lozenge. If you go to Walgreens, CVS, any place, it's right next to the gum, and it comes in a tube, and they are nicotine lozenges. And I like them. I like them much better than the gum.
It comes in a tube?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they kind of like
I'll go look it up.
It looks like
all right.
a prescription pill like deal.
That's what
it kind of looks like.
Almost, yeah.
Okay, because
we're all this addicted. That's just plain simple.
Oh yeah. He's always. You've never seen anyone consume more. Consume more nicotine. Like he's like one of our dads. Like at their office.
Yeah.
When my dad would
He's
light
my
a
idol.
cigarette and then realize he had already had a cigarette lit that was in the ashtray.
Oh, my dad did that 1,000 times in his life. Yeah.
All right, so maybe you can buy Zyn. I was told you couldn't.
But you
buy
can't
Zyn.
get any kind of
They're just non-flavored.
all right. So here's the deal with the flavor. You can get in and this is how it was described to me by somebody at a vape store. Essentially, they're all the only flavor that's allowed in any of these things is it's not menthol, it's vanilla, and they tweak the amount of vanilla in there so it's not just either a completely flavorless deal or just a harsh tobacco flavor. You can get a harsh tobacco flavor vape, or you can get something that's got kind of like a mint, but it's variations on vanilla. That's the only flavor I think that is legal, and they probably have a different name for it. Otherwise, you got to either A, know somebody, or B, go to New Hampshire.
Or Rhode Island.
No, I don't think Rhode Island has them. I think it's...
No, they do. They have all the flavors there because I'm from Newport. And that's where I usually buy them.
Really? For the Zins? I don't think the vape,
they have
but I don't
every
think
flavor.
All right, good to know.
Stop by Pawtucket. There you go.
All right.
So
Zach.
what I took from this is I can't have flavored nicotine, but I can risk my life for the country at 18 years old. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, listen, they're trying to protect the children. What can I tell you? The Zins are very popular with the kids. That I know.
I stocked up in Puerto Rico. I can tell you that. I got a few down there.
Like seriously, I don't even like. I'm not like I could go without Zins forever. But like, if I'm in Detroit, because right across the street from the Greektown Casino is that liquor store, I'll just go in there and get 3 cans of Zins. They'll last me a lifetime.
Right.
So
I had to make an excuse. We were all in the hotel one day after, like getting ready for dinner after being at the pool. I'm like, I really want a Diet Mountain Dew. You can't get one here though. And I'm gonna just run downstairs real quick and then walk across the street and walk down 3 blocks to that one convenience store I think we saw when we were going to dinner the other night. My wife was like, "What?" Shush. Yeah. She, oh, okay. I know what you're doing. All right. Anybody else want anything from the convenience store? 15 minutes away because I really need a Diet Mountain Dew. I bought myself some flavors.
I do think it's funny that Zins come in 6 and 3 milligram, as if anyone's going to go, give me the 3.
Well, I've done that before when I've tried to cut back. I've gone down. These are 4 milligram lozenges. I was for a time down to 2 milligrams, and I was breaking them into fourths. I was this close to being weaned off of nicotine. This is about 5 years ago.
Yeah, you got to just go cold turkey on that thing.
Oh, I would. I might end up if you cut off all nicotine from me today, I might end up in the hospital.
I told you my dad made me wait until I moved out of the house before he would quit smoking because he knew I aggravated him so much that he couldn't do it.
All right, man. I got to let you go.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
At Metro Credit Union, our checking is shaped by members, which means we can offer checking that
lets me choose the features I want,
gives me rewards and cash back.
always.
credibility on the line, and we quickly found out that Gerard Mayo had no credibility, that his words carried no weight, and oftentimes he would take back what he said. So we found out pretty quickly that listening to Gerard Mayo a lot of times was a useless exercise.
Sounded great at the beginning, right?
Well, we're going to find out on Mike Vrabel pretty quickly because he was adamant today that they were going to be aggressive.
Stolak and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love them.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Dutcher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR.
Bruins were home last night to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Freddie T was at the game, and the Bruins must have known it because they came out hot.
Taken out and cleared ahead by Warriors. Pasternak with the breakaway. He scores! Bruins counter punch right away and grab a 1-0 lead. Pasternak just 29 seconds in.
How about that? Were you there for that, Fred? Did you make it in on time?
I was in the building. I was walking to the suite at that point.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, eggs on my face. I should have really gotten there earlier.
Were you in your seat for this?
Off the draw. Puck comes back to Lohrei at the left point. Moves it along the blue line. Now fires, and that one just wide. Pasternak off the right circle has possession. Pasternak brings it toward the dot. Sends it in front. Off Marchand. They score! The puck pinballing around in front, and Marchand with a power play goal makes it 2-0.
I was there for that, but I was a little disappointed because I had my sign all set to get on the big screen that said Lohrei.
Oh, yeah. Take it easy. And then he flipped around and said, take it easy?
Yeah, I would say take it easy.
Yeah.
No, it's all on one side.
Oh. Huh?
And then at the bottom I put, this is a take on Slow Ride. Remember that song?
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy because I didn't put the other lyric.
So Pasternak scores, Brad Marchand scores. Who else is going to get in on the fun?
Here's Marchand, tic-tac-toe. Geeky scores! Off the rebound, they got it to Geeky, and he fires it home. It's 3-0.
Does that count as good puck movement when the puck is just kind of tic-tac-toeing around sticks and skates in front of the net and you're able to bury it?
Sure.
Okay. Are we going to give him credit for that?
Sure does.
They were playing tough. They were playing good through the first period and a half.
You got to crawl before you walk. This team's crawling along.
Well,
I'll take whatever superlative you want to throw out there is fine.
Well, in the second period, at the end of the second period, they should have scored. I mean, they had 3 chances.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there,
They
so
were
I don't
dominant for
they,
long periods of time.
3 chances. Well, no, 3 chances in a row at the end of the period where something should have gone in. There was a nice save, but then 2 big rebounds that one of them should have gone in. And then Marchand, obviously, in the third period had an opportunity, but that wasn't so much his fault. It was more of a bad pass. But
well, Morgan Riley scored for Toronto for the first time in the game, more than midway through the second, to make it 3-1. Mitch Marner would score on the power play. Robinson
I was
would
under
score.
no.
All of a sudden, it's 3-3.
Yeah, I was under no illusions that the Bruins were winning this game.
Really,
I mean,
even up 3-0.
Oh no, yeah. There was way too much time, and I'm not kidding. I was having conversations with people. I'm like, they're not winning this game. There's no way. And
What?
then at the last, and then I knew it. I knew it. I knew when Toronto. I don't know how linear you want to get with this thing, but when Toronto pulled the goalie, I knew that Toronto was going to.
Well, yeah, the defensive core that was without their best 2 defensemen couldn't get the puck out of their own zone. They kept turning the puck over. How many chances did Toronto have before they actually tied the game? At the end of the game, Matthews hit the post. I remember that.
Twice, they hit the post twice late in the third.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Bruins, we've seen this so much this year. They just can't clear the puck out of their zone. They just can't get it out.
Yeah, they have one top 4 defenseman in their lineup. It's Brandon Carlo.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I get it when they pulled a goalie and you got an extra man in there, but can you just get it over the blue line? You don't have to squirt through in the neutral zone and have a chance going the other way. Just get the puck out. Get the puck on the other side of that line. Can you? No. You cannot.
No.
Having said all that, it did go to overtime, and obviously in 3-on-3, both teams are going to have chances, but ultimately...
Lohrei, top of the right circle. Toe drags around Matthews, goes right in front. Stolarz made the save. Lohrei went crashing into him. Stolarz a bit slow in getting up, has no stick. Scramble for possession here out of the blue line. Lohrei can't keep it in. It's a breakaway for Marner. Marner skating in slowly, goes to the forehand and scores. And the Toronto Maple Leafs win it in overtime coming from 2 goals down in the third period, then coming from a goal down, and they win it 5-4.
Yeah, I'm glad they lost. I'm very glad the Bruins lost. This is good. Sweeney still publicly is like, I'm on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do. No. Get out of your own way. This team, 3-goal leads they blow a couple times. Like, just stop. You're not good. You're not making the playoffs. Just stop. Start moving pieces. Start moving today.
Couldn't agree more. Trade deadline's a week from Friday. Why wait? Seriously, get on the phones now. And you mentioned blowing leads. And Hardy, this is your favorite stat. Goals given up in the final 2 minutes of a period. Okay? How many times do you think the Bruins have given up a goal in the final 2 minutes of a period this season? And by the way, Ty Anderson posted this.
I might have seen this.
Okay, so I haven't seen it. I really like the second period final 2 minutes because but the final 2 minutes of any period, how many times?
This season,
15 times,
25 times this season they have given up a goal in the final. Now, how many times did they given up a goal in the final minute of the third period this season?
Please,
and by the way, this is all in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Don't tell me it's more than 5.
It's exactly 5.
Oh God.
They've given up a goal in the final minute of the third period 5 times in this calendar year.
They stand around on defense. It's really something to see. It's just really something to see. They'll have the puck pretty much unobstructed behind the net, and they'll just bounce it off the backboards, and then it will the back wall, and then it will just kind of trickle, and then Toronto just gets possession again, and then it can start all over. Like there's
a lack of urgency when it comes to getting that puck out, whether it's behind the net or just out of the zone. And they just
look. Yeah, I don't play the game, but it might even be an inherent skill that they don't possess.
Yeah,
like the ability to read the backboard, like to read the angles and stuff. Like because you're shooting the puck around the boards, you're trying to obviously shoot it around, keep it out of the middle of the ice. Like I understand what you're trying to do. But they somehow managed to ricochet it right back in front of the net. Like it's just amazing how sloppy they are with the puck in the defensive zone. It's crazy. They'll have possession in any other Bruins season. It's pretty much. I know that getting it out of there and moving the puck crisply and all that stuff is difficult and a sign of a good team. I'm talking about literally just getting the puck. You have it in your possession. There's no one on you, and you just have to rim it out of the zone. They have an inability to do that. It's really something to see, and it's a bad team. They're bad, and yes, I thought when in the beginning of this season, when they had Montgomery as coach, and things were going poorly, I thought, all right, well, look, sneak into the playoffs. You're going to make the playoffs. And then this is what they did, and I'm not making it up. They built this team to be heavy in the playoffs.
Right. They built it to sneak into the playoffs and then lean on the goaltender and the defense.
Right. And then they went ahead, and so, well, Fred, you said this. Yeah, I did. But then they fired Montgomery, which I guess they had to do. But Lord knows it wasn't Montgomery's fault because now that's being proven, and then everyone's hurt. So now that's not happening. So now sell. You changed your mind. I get that sometimes. You change your mind. I didn't change my. The circumstances changed. Yeah. You panicked in the very beginning of the season, and then this guy, Zago's not going to coach this team next year. It's over. Just it's all over. And then Sweeney can go be Team Canada's GM for the rest of his life.
It's good this happened because we all knew this day was coming, especially after they didn't win 2 years ago and they pushed all their chips to into the center of the table. They've given away so many draft picks. They've drafted poorly, and they've still managed to stay on top because the people they had on the roster were that good. Now all of those people have fallen off. The core got old. They aged out. They left. Marchand's the only one left. So it's time to flip the roster over. It's time to move on. And yeah, just because you rebuild doesn't mean you're going to get good anytime in the near future. If the guy pulling the switches, throwing the switches isn't doing it right, but it's better than this. This is middle of the pack, not good enough to make the playoffs. Maybe you are, and you're a quick knockout. Do you want that for the next decade?
No.
Better to take the big swing and a chance to go down and come back up.
I do appreciate Ryan Johnston, though, on the call, as he does a great job, and Judd does a great job on the TV. The problem with listening to Judd last night, Fred, which you didn't because you were at the game, did you notice this, John? Every time the Bruins had a good shot on goal that the Toronto goalie stopped, I thought they scored. Because, you're looking at other stuff, you don't have it.
The voice goes up exponentially loud. You're like, oh, my God. And Stolarz has it in the crease.
Stolarz! The Bruins take a shot. Stolarz!
Yeah, Stolarz.
With the stop.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Scores?
Yeah.
Do you say scores?
Yeah.
No, it's Stolarz.
All right. Well, so good. Get rid of a bunch of people. All right. When we come back, the Celtics played last night.
Yes. So
they played the Toronto Raptors. Does Drake still go to those games, or is he?
Did not see Drake in his seat last night.
Or does he not like being called a pedophile at the Super Bowl?
I think he's laying low for a while.
Might make you a little gun shy for a while.
Man, might be. I just thinking how much that would just drive me insane.
Just feeling a little puny.
Yeah, like oh Jesus, the Super Bowl.
Oh,
this is
man.
what I need in my life. All right, we will have all of that for you in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Make it 6 straight wins for the Celtics. They won in Toronto last night, 111-101. They're in Detroit tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Toronto got a goal with 46 seconds left in regulation, and then they won in overtime, 5-4 over the Bruins at TD Garden. Bruins have lost 4 straight. They play the Islanders at TD Garden tomorrow night. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel told the media yesterday that the roster he has now probably won't look anything like the roster he'll have at the end of August, and he expects the team to be very aggressive in free agency. And the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday, 6-1. They played Tampa Bay today at JetBlue Park. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Ron has a good point real quick. We're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Ron's taking pictures. Ron, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey, we're good. Hey.
Yeah, the Bruins are so god-awful, but I love it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they can always give you a lead in the third period to give you better odds to bet on the opponent to win some money on DraftKings. So, you bet on the Bruins to start the game. You get some good odds on a parlay, and then they take a lead, and then you just take half of whatever you're going to win and hedge your bet on the opponent, and usually you work out better.
Yeah, in our case, FanDuel, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's just awful. I mean, how do you have so many leads late in games? And you just can't close it out. I mean, is it a player problem? Is it a coach problem? Is it we just want to get the fans a little excited? I don't know. It's just frustrating. But anyway, I'll digress from the Bruins conversation. I just wanted to clarify the Zin real quick, and I'll let you guys get back to what you do best. But both Massachusetts and Rhode Island are flavor tobacco bans. Rhode Island just went into effect at the beginning of the year, so you can only get Zin Chill and Zin Smooth. If you want anything close to a menthol type flavor, there's one thing that you can buy, and it's a vape product, and it's called Clear. So if you're looking for something, you can always buy the Clear product that they sell on the shelf. Hasn't been banned yet, but I'm pretty sure they will as soon as they find out people are taking that as their alternative, especially now that you have to go all the way to New Hampshire. No flavors, just chill and smooth. And if you want anything close to menthol, you got to buy the Clear.
All right. Well, there you go.
Hi, Ron. You taking pictures?
There's there you go. You have a nice guy that works for the company. Yeah, Hardy knows all these things. You're preaching to the choir. Hardy's got it all in front of him right now.
We should figure out a way to make our own. Maybe get together on a weekend and hole up in the kitchen, mad scientist style, and figure out a way to.
I might be a little controversial here, but I understand why they banned the flavors of vaping, because the vape companies deliberately were marketing towards kids with those flavors.
It's the 2025 version of Joe Camel.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I do understand. I'm not sitting here saying like I don't understand why that happened and that it's unfair. I'm just saying that I was under the impression that the company's Zin was illegal in Massachusetts, but I am wrong. I've been proven wrong. Okay.
All right, let's get to the Celtics. Took on the Toronto Raptors last night. John Wallach is very, very worried about this team. I don't know what you have to be worried about, John Wallach. You got one of the best players in the league, playing some of the best basketball of his career.
Derek White, right-hand dribble to the free throw line, shuttles it back to Tatum, going to rock the left side three, swish.
Everybody with him. This guy is hot as fish grease right now.
Mm-hmm. This is a generational player playing at the height of his power right now. Tatum has been amazing the last couple of weeks.
And you're worried, John Wall.
No, you're kind of stretching what I told you. I was worried that this team is banged
sick
up.
Is what he said.
Banged up, and they have another game to play tonight. Jason Tatum was the center last night. The Celtics were without their top three big guys. They were without Porzingis, who was a late scratch, Horford, who was being rested front end of the back-to-back, and Cornette had to miss the game because of personal reasons. They didn't start a big guy. So Tatum jumped center. He was fantastic last night, but he had to play 40 minutes in this game with another one coming up tonight. And even though the Celtics beat Toronto, I'm sorry to kill this whole thing for you. Even though they beat Toronto, they had to expend a lot of energy to do it. That was the reason for my worry, specifically for tonight.
He's a young man at the height of his powers. He's got energy.
Tatum puts it in the left hand, gets to the free throw line, dribbles right around Robinson, gets to the cup as if he wasn't even there, and spoiler alert, he wasn't. Two-hand slam.
Well, Robinson, not enough quickness there. Just Tatum just exposed him with no foot.
19 points and 11 assists last night while playing center. Tatum was great last night.
Well, we won't bother talking about any more since you already ruined it.
I killed it. Sorry. They got another game against your Pistons tonight, though.
That's right.
Pistons have won 7 in a row. They have not played this well in easily a decade. They look great.
And that'll be an interesting game just to see how they manage and what they're going to do personnel-wise based on their injuries and the rest and everything else. But the real story in the NBA last night was Luka Doncic and LeBron James taking on the Dallas Mavericks, and things were a little chippy early, but Luka was also asserting himself early.
Ball's loose. LeBron comes up with it. Boy, LeBron getting after it right now. In the corner, Doncic for three, partially blocked. And that's going to be a foul. Count that, and one as Doncic gets to the basket.
I believe Luka was called for a tech after he was fouled early on in the first quarter. Maybe the second time he touched the ball after he argued with the ref or something. Did you see it, Wallach? I was not watching at the very beginning of the game, but
watch it.
He was very, very fired up. And do you want to spoil this one too, Wallach?
No, you're
tell
good.
everybody what happened?
I'm going to let it go. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Luka and LeBron got the better of Luka's former team as the Lakers get the win last night, 107-99. Luka with his first triple-double as a Laker last night against his former team.
So away we go. Lakers fourth in the West.
People are saying now, I heard on the way in that J.J. Redick was a top 10 coach in the NBA. And I'll say this, and that we watch out, they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. No. And I will say this, too, is that I was interested in what the guy said about the J.J. Redick being a top 10 coach, but then they pivoted to 30 minutes on Diana Taurasi retiring.
Oh, WNBA content?
Which is their right. As a public entity or as a private business, rather, that's their right.
I got a lot of that this morning myself and last night. It was a big story to somebody.
And she's certainly a legend in that sport. But if I'm the Disney company, I'm saying, whoa, you don't want baseball, but you're doing 20 minutes on Diana Taurasi retiring on a morning where there was NBA and NHL and the
Luka
combine, and Luka played his former team. I mean, there's a lot today. Like, I get it. You know, week between the Super Bowl or the championship games and the Super Bowl, that off week. Like, I get it.
Nope.
Like, you know, All-Star game weekend in the summer. I get it. Let's focus here, gentlemen. And I'm not dismissing women's sports, but I am dismissing, if I'm running a media company, the appetite for that kind of intense coverage of it. That's what I'm saying.
I think that the casual fan will begin to resent it after a while if they're beaten over the head with it.
And it's their right as a company, and maybe they're right and maybe I'm wrong. But Caitlin Clark was a huge story and worthy of tons and tons and tons of coverage. But Caitlin Clark's not doing anything right now. Now you can relax. Name a college women's basketball player. John probably can. Can you?
No, and I didn't know the name Diana Taurasi. When I saw the photos of her, I'm like, oh, okay, I know her, but I didn't know her name.
I knew her name. And she was great, and she's one of the OG great from that generation.
UConn.
Yeah. Can you name a current women's college basketball player?
No, I don't think I can.
Yeah, and that's with them hitting it over. You guys all listen to what I listened to on the way in.
Yeah,
even with all that coverage, I can't tell you anyone who's playing.
I can't. I don't think I can.
Yeah,
no.
It's not Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That was a fun thing. Now that's not happening right now. So everyone can that happened. That'd be like in 3 years from now, like the 17th Four Nations. All right, well, you had it. I paid attention to it 17 times ago. Now, not now. All right. So the Celtics, you think they're in big trouble, John?
No, I think they're in trouble for tonight. You had Tatum go 40 minutes, and Jaylen Brown took a bump to his hip or knee and was limping around after the game, and you don't know the status of your three big men. I'm just saying, against a team playing as well as Detroit is, on a second night of a back-to-back with travel, they might be in trouble tonight. And then you have Cleveland on Friday, and you have Denver, who's won 9 out of 10, coming up right after that. So this is a tough little stretch here. That's all. And you're not quite sure about who's healthy or who's tired. It's a tough little 4 or 5 days. That's all.
All right. Listen, Mike Vrabel, as much as I would like to get further into Taurasi's retirement, Mike Vrabel talked yesterday at the Combine. We'll dissect him. We'll judge him. We'll judge just how good he did in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Be sure to tune into the Off Air Show with Felger every Wednesday just after 6 p.m. on the 98.5 The Sports Hub's YouTube channel. Subscribe today. The Off Air Show is presented by the original light beer, Miller Lite. Tastes great and only 96 calories. When it's time for the Off Air Show, it's Miller time.
Town Fair Tire sells all the name.
And then Kristaps Porzingis was a late scratch with a non-COVID illness. We'll see who's available tonight as the Green finish off their road back-to-back in Detroit. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dallas and the Lakers played their first game against each other last night since the big trade, and LA won, beating the Mavericks 107-99. Luka Doncic, 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists. The Bruins blew a 3-1 third-period lead and lost to Toronto 5-4 in overtime at TD Garden. Joe Sacco's squad actually led 3-0 at the midway point of the game.
We were ready to play tonight. I thought we had a great start to the game. The first 40 minutes, I really liked what we were doing in the hockey game. And, you know, you give that team a little bit of life there like we did at the end. I think there was under 5 or 6 seconds to go on that power play goal. You give them some life, and then they start to push.
Mitch Marner's second goal of the game came on a breakaway in overtime and won it for the Maple Leafs. Bruins have lost 4 in a row. They'll play the Islanders at TD Garden tomorrow night. And Patriots News, Mike Vrabel told the media yesterday the roster he has now probably won't look like anything like the roster he'll have at the end of August. And the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday, 6-1 in Venice, Florida. They play Tampa Bay today in Fort Myers. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Daytime Daily Meals menu with the 99. Available Monday through Saturday until 5 p.m. Enjoy new specials like the flatbread combos or the Vermont cheddar chicken sandwich. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach of Boston Toll for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Kaboom.
Yeah. Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
We've started some of those discussions internally, and I think having different plans and having an option A and option B, I mean, things are going to change. Everybody's looking at the same players, so we have to be ready to pivot and adjust and have a vision for each player, I would say, at each level.
Here on top, I'm questioning if that's a dye job. We'll find out. Hopefully he'll do the show one time, and if we just ask one question. Do you dye your hair? Like Rob Ninkovich dyes his beard.
Well, with Ninkovich, it's unnatural.
I think
He got
Vrabel's
too bold with it.
It's a pretty common thing because I got that. I got the gray on the sides, but I
Well, it's funny because I have gray on the sides, but on the YouTube, my hair looks orange when I see the videos that because of the lighting in it. It looks orange.
Mine has gone from brown to kind of like that, just dyeing non-color. I know my sister and I have the same hair color. She's a couple of years older than me. I noticed it in her a few years ago. Like, no, Wallach, you've got a nice salt and pepper thing going. But my hair, same color as my sister's hair. It's just that kind of, it's not gray, but there's no real color to it either. It's kind of like it's like a.
I think you're not gray at all.
I am on the sides, and I need a haircut. But when I get my haircut here in the next week or so, you'll notice it's gray.
Every time I get my haircut, it's grayer and grayer.
Yeah.
It's every time, but the top is not so gray. But the sides in the back, in the beard, my beard has been white for 10 years, 12 years. That went right away, Wilford Brimley style.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, so Mike Vrabel spoke yesterday, yes, and he's got a little bit of gray hair on the sides, and he also says free agency is something that plan to be very aggressive.
Mike, how would you describe how the team will approach free agency?
Hopefully aggressive. I mean, we want to be aggressive. We want to target players that we feel like are going to help us. They're going to be outstanding players. They're going to be outstanding additions to the locker room and the community. And if that all fits and the compensation fits, but I'm confident that we'll be aggressive.
I hope they're really good in the community. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm. See, that stuck out to you too. Like, he didn't say that like just willy-nilly. And I don't know if it's going to be an out for later on, why they didn't go after a certain player here or there, but why even bring that up?
Because I think it's just pablum. It's just trying to feed the masses.
See, I remember him saying something about that during his first press conference when he was hired. I think I have this right. I took it as, okay, we realize we have a lot of fences to mend here. We need to get out and meet the people and generate some support as opposed to being mediocre to poor for the last 5 years.
I think that his priorities, the getting out and meeting the people, is
I didn't say that's
somewhere
high
along
on the
the
list.
lines of what kind of dirt is in the playground that's 3 miles from Gillette Stadium.
John, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying
I am.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't think they should have or really do have any concern with how these guys are going to be perceived at community events. They shouldn't. Not now. You can't afford to have that worry or concern. You need players who can play. The end.
I would imagine that would be what their main concern is.
But if they can't get him in free agency, can you get him in the draft, Mike?
I think it's a good draft. I mean, I think.
Oh, do you?
Wow, that's not exactly a widely held opinion. All right.
I think it's a good draft. I mean, I think there's a lot of names. There's a lot of personalities. Some guys we met last night that were serious. Some guys had a different personality, was maybe a little bit more, engaging. And I think that's fun. I think all we're trying to do through this process is get the players to be as authentic as possible, to figure out where the fit is and how they can add to our roster and our team and the vision that we have for them.
So Vrabel impressed me as the type of guy who's not automatically going to be turned off by somebody who is, let's just say, uncharacteristically personable, which probably would throw off the old regime.
You know what the best part about all of this is, and the Midday Show brought this up right after the press conference is over, did not hear the word collaboration once. There's one guy in charge. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. He'll say we. I think that's kind of a token toss to the front office. But there's one guy driving this bus, and I'm all for it. This is fantastic, based on what I went through last year as a Patriots fan.
Sure, if the right decisions are made. If you want one takeaway from everything yesterday, I have one similar to what Zolak had, and I think I heard it echoed on Felger and Maz. There is, like you said, John, there's someone in charge. And, Zoe was quick to point out, it wasn't a knock on Mayo, but it was a much different vibe and attitude with the collaboration. And we're going to have everyone talking about this. No, there's a grown-up there now who is not going to be asking for anyone else's opinion on certain matters.
He's not feeling his way along. He's not
right.
It's not. We'll see. We'll get people in a room together. This is a guy who's experienced and confident.
And I don't mean as a man. I mean as a coach. He has done this job before. Whereas Mayo was the youngest one could be as a head coach. He had never done it before. That's all I meant by grown up. Before people get all upset. This is something that should speak to Adam 12, as he is in the market for an automobile right now.
Yes.
I like to shop like everybody else. And so when you go and there's only one of, a certain car.
Women be shopping too.
I know. I mean, I'll tell you what. When I give my wife my credit card, she goes, charge it. Just like Wilma and Betty.
Yeah.
John knows what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
Do you remember that episode of the Flintstones?
Yes.
When it aired in prime time?
When they were smoking cigarettes in commercials.
Sunday nights at 8, ABC.
Oh, Jesus, Adam. Sometimes this is unnecessary. I understand it's the De La Soul. Yeah, unnecessary.
I like to shop like everybody else.
De La Soul is always necessary.
All right, Adam.
I like to shop like everybody else. And so when you go and there's only one of, a certain car, maybe you have to pay a little bit more for that one car because there's only one of them. When you start to get into a range where you feel like there's an area where players are comparable and you like 3 or 4 players in a certain area for a certain role, you may not have to overspend. But it's free agency. I think that everybody overspends sometimes in free agency.
I heard that. It's just real quick. I heard that. That does not speak well of Mike Vrabel. That's very poorly said. That whole thing was just a mishmash of nonsense. It was not good. So you want a car, there's only one of them, so you'll overspend for it. But if there's 4 cars, you like cars, and then you spend for it. I understand free market and supply and demand. That was a very roundabout way of saying it. I don't know why that was necessary. But hopefully he finds some guys that are good in the community.
I'm much more interested now that I think about it. What would Adam 12's dream car be? Like right now, money is no object. You can have any car you want.
1985 Chevy Monte Carlo with a sliding bench seat, two doors.
Really, you can.
It's my first car.
You can go get any car you want right now, and it's going to be your daily driver. So, like, I wouldn't choose a Lamborghini. You know, I don't want.
Honestly, I know you did. I don't care. You guys rag on me. It would literally be the Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid. That's the car I've wanted for like half a decade now. I would love that car.
The one that they don't make anymore.
The one that they don't make anymore, which is even more on.
Why don't you make a vision board?
Yes, mood board. Yeah,
if you could find a picture of it.
Yeah,
and then put it up there.
Yeah,
and maybe that, and one day you'll finally get to friendlies.
I love friendlies. Happy ending Sunday.
Your goal. Well, listen, I don't know what spot you should go to, but the thing is, Adam, is that I'm glad that your goals are off the charts. That you're willing to dream big.
Yes, you know me. I'm a big dreamer. Reaching for the high life, me always. The finer things.
Who did you fantasize about last night? Oh, there's this plain lady that works at a farmer's stand.
No, that's the guy to the left of you, not me.
You remember about my fantasies?
Do you remember?
I'm researching Subaru
One Day at a Time
cross-deck hybrids.
Remember One Day at a Time that really the daughter, the real hot one, not her, Mackenzie Phillips.
Leave Valerie over there.
Yeah, leave Valerie over there.
Yeah.
You know the one that captured the imagination of so many young men back then? Her sister.
We don't want Sofia Vergara. We want Julie Bowen.
Well, that's Hardy.
Yes.
Julie Bowen's a very attractive woman.
Thank you.
It's a little bit different. Mackenzie Phillips is a very, very, very unattractive woman. It's almost a miracle she got on TV. But there you go.
Nepotism.
How about a 2014 Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid touring model? It's only got 47,000 miles.
Yeah, I
on
got
it.
that saved. I looked at that one already. I got
On
that
CarMax?
saved. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah.
There's literally, like, CarMax, who has a million cars available.
That's
the
like
one
the
that
one.
12 wants. There are 10.
Yeah.
They have 10.
Are they in the state?
Go.
I think one is, or it might be in New Hampshire.
No,
if
the one
it's
I just mentioned is in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's not the one I have saved because I thought I was able to find one that was local. It might be in New Hampshire.
Oh, no, there's one in Danvers, but it's
That's
got
the one.
100,000 miles on it.
Nah, I don't want that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, finally from Mike Vrabel. This is something that we talked about before, Fred, the huge staffs that football teams have and what they're required to do and putting together stuff. Wes Welker has been on this show before, I think, talking about it, how it was kind of almost silly, the amount of busy work that you have to do as one of the assistants on an NFL team.
To make sure that we're as efficient as possible, if you can identify some young quality control coaches that are, we have to have energy. It's a long season. I don't want anybody in there till midnight, coming back in at 4 in the morning. I just don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's healthy for the individual. I don't think that's healthy for their families. I think that the people that benefit the least are the players. Like, we have to come into this meeting each and every day, sell our vision, sell our plan on how to win each and every week.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that a bunch of times. The notion of you're working 18-hour days is stupid. If your idea
when they would sleep at the stadium after a Sunday night game, and then
it's just so inefficient and just not productive. That's not how you productively work. You're the human brain. You cannot be focusing for that long, and the work you're doing on the tail end of that, or maybe even the second half of that time, is bad work. And then the next day you're shot. And so the most important part of your days are what I would say practices and meetings. Mm-hmm. So if you're up till 4 in the morning and then getting up at 5 in the morning, and then your meetings are at 9 o'clock in the morning and your practices are at noon, you're at your worst during those periods of time. That always bugged me. That there was this like competition of that. Like, I slept on my desk last night. Why? You're a football coach. You couldn't handle this in a 10-hour day? And how much of that was working, and how much of that was banging the secretary, and taking a sauna. How dumb are you that it requires you all that time to game plan for an effing football game when you've been in football all your life?
And how bad of a manager are you that you would require multiple people on your staff to put in that number of hours doing stuff that you must know at your core is not going to make a difference?
No, I mean, you're breaking down what, in real time. If you took out commercials and stoppages in play, if you just were breaking down, how long's an NFL game in actual time played?
15 minutes.
So you have to break down a 15-minute. So say it's week 6, so you have to break down 5 15-minute games, and it's taking you a week of 18-hour days to do that.
Well,
you're an idiot.
Belichick and the and Bill We Trust people, which have gotten fewer and fewer and certainly quieter over the years, would say all that they did led to what you had under his leadership.
Well, and it also led to horrible drafts, because the reason that Belichick, if he even did, had to stay in the building for that long, it's because he was also their number one scout and GM. That he was wearing too many hats. So if your job is to coach the team, but then you have to turn around and follow what's going on in college football and break down scouts and would-be free agents, yes, I would imagine that's too much work. That's too much work, and it's too much work for your staff. So yes, talk to anyone. Talk to any successful CEO or anything like that. I believe they would tell you that you're kind of running out of steam after the 10th hour. 10-hour workday, fine. I still question how much of that is productive work, unless you have a mental condition where you can just completely focus on some menial task for like that amount of time. But if your job is to be creative and innovative and come up with these ideas, sitting at your desk for 18 hours is certainly not going to achieve that goal. Maybe if you're having this big burst and you don't want to let it go, or maybe you're just doing what the MyPillow guy did and smoking a bunch of crack and staying up for 4 days and writing on the wall until you come up with MyPillow, which I believe is a true story. All right, when we come back, Andrew Callahan is down at the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful combine. And we'll find out what his night was like last night, who he was rubbing shoulders with, and everything else going on in just a moment. and I have had many offers to become an insider.
It's a skill that our team has because of the players that we have, the way the coaches coach it. The fact that it's a successful play for the Eagles and people want to take that away, I think is a little unfair.
Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan is the Patriots reporter columnist for the Boston Herald. He covers other sports too, and he's down in Indianapolis for the Combine, which is it's just Sodom and Gomorrah for football writers, basically. It's just an opportunity to go out and do a bunch of drugs. And Andrew, though, did get up or stay up in order to do our show this morning, which I appreciate. Andrew, hello.
Good morning, boys.
How late a night was it for you last night?
2:45, 3. So it was about on par.
There you go.
Oh, really? And how hard was it for you to get up?
It wasn't great, but we're here. I love you guys, and that's no lip service. So I'm ready to rock and roll.
He's still drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not Bert Breer drunk.
No. Bert set the standard by which others are measured.
Yeah, years ago, Bert came on, and it was just, I think he had to bail at a certain point because it was too hard. But, Andrew, this will be quick. We won't keep you on for too long. When you're out last night, and I know that in all seriousness that you're going out because this is how you guys, meet the people in charge and how you can have off-the-record conversations with people, and I know you guys don't necessarily report what's said to you in those situations, but they do create a prism of which you can then decipher information that you get throughout the football season. Last night, was everyone from the NFL out and about? Were there people of importance that were out at the same places as you?
Yeah, and I'll say this. It's not even as exclusive as being out late. Like, you can turn a corner in a major hotel and see Steve Spagnuolo sitting on a bench. I checked in at the same time as Sean Payton 2 days ago into my hotel. Roger Goodell has walked by me aimlessly, alone, maybe 5-6 times. So this combine is and this is no joke, no exaggeration. I'm actually a little bit worried about Roger because he doesn't even have a security detail. But the point is, at this time of year in the city, the way it's constructed and everyone knows to go to the same 3-4 spots, generally speaking, like you run into anybody and that goes from 6 a.m. all the way until 2 a.m.
I'll tell you this about Roger. He's a real clown.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
That's not even one of those jokes. I was just being sarcastic. I was making fun of all the Patriot fans that wore the dumb cloud nose shirt.
Yeah, that was a Matt Patricia shot there.
Yeah, remember when Matt Patricia came off the plane with that clown nose on, the Roger Goodell clown nose thing? That worked out well for him.
It was the peak of his career, as I remember it. Yeah.
And at the time, I said, "Who is this idiot? What an idiot! Getting on, you stupid fool!" And I contend he is.
Detroit
stupid.
Hired him a week later.
Yeah, and he alienated the team and the media within a day. All right, so Andrew, okay, I'm fascinated by this draft. I really am, because this is a rare draft where the top of it could go haywire. Like and just as I had been thinking, and I don't know anything, I'm just reading what people say. Now there's talk about bad news for the Patriots. There's talk about teams not liking these quarterbacks, maybe even more than we knew. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't, but I spoke with an ex-GM who still works in the league and works for another team yesterday, and he's saying, look, I think we'll get to mid-April, and there'll still be a lot of uncertainty around this. And so, look, I do think teams at this point, if you're in on Cam Ward, if you're in on Shedeur Sanders, you should probably know. But I'm not sure that they do. And we've seen guys plenty of times, year after year after year, get drafted in the top 10 or 12 that don't deserve it. So, if you're the Patriots, obviously you're concerned of whether that's top 3 or not. But there are teams at the top that need one, and they're trying to figure out, like, do we want to, run out with Travis Hunter and play in one position or two? Because even the top 2 teams in the draft, on the record yesterday, the Titans said, we primarily see him as a corner. And the Browns going, well, we really see him as a receiver. Like, when I say uncertainty at the top is almost more than ever, it's true.
Okay, but but with the quarterbacks, this is a weird year, right? It seems like the Rams think they can get Rodgers. Rodgers apparently said he wants to go to the Rams. So if the Rams let Rodgers come, good luck. And then Stafford gets sent to – Stafford's 36 and had a damn good year last year.
Yeah.
He plays through injury, unlike Rodgers plays through it, but at least Stafford
there are
can succeed.
A lot of teams that want him. You're reading that Tom Brady made a phone call last night.
Right.
Yeah.
So say Stafford goes to a team, then that frees up Darnold, and that frees up there's a team is not a team who needs a quarterback this year is not beholden to taking one in the draft. Like there are decent. I mean, you're talking about Stafford, a guy who still was a play away from the NFC Championship game being available, and that frees up any idiot that still believes in Aaron Rodgers. And that moves Sam Darnold, who proved to be certainly a good enough quarterback last year until the end, to that frees him up. And then there's a whole domino effect of things that can happen. And that's what concerns me if I'm a Patriot fan about the top of this draft, is that everything gets all mixed up. And then a team that might trade up with you, like the Raiders, and they end up dealing for Matt Stafford or something like that. It just screws everything up.
Yeah, I think that's fair, guys. I would also keep in mind, when the Rams grant Matthew Stafford permission to talk with other teams, it's not so much like, hey, you want to come here? What do you think? This is what we'd like to do. It's to say, this is the contract we would give you. And that's the point that right now is the sticking point between Stafford and the Rams, who say, go find your value elsewhere, not in terms of picks, not in terms of draft capital, not in terms of trade, but in terms of contract. Whatever you get, just like they do, and the Patriots have done this with other free agents, come free agency, go find the best contract you can get and we'll match it. That's what I think is going on here with Stafford. It's just so strange to me for such a smart front office, a cutting-edge front office, to tell their quarterback when they were on the cusp of an NFC Championship game appearance against the future Super Bowl champions, hey, go out there. We're going to deal you and make it so public. I think it's much more about the contract than the actual trade, which I'm not ruling out, but I just want to kind of keep that in mind here, because that's the first domino to fall if it does.
Yeah, and that is true. But they don't want to pay him. And that's the thing, is that they're going out and they're saying, go look and find what you can get. But I heard a guy on Mad Dog say, and again, Andrew, you would know more than me. I'm just reporting what I hear other reporters say, is that, that's the idea, but they don't want to pay him. Like, they believe that they're in kind of like a transitional phase with Kupp, and they got, and they have some young talent on the team. They believe that because Rodgers will play, Rodgers will cut his contract. Rodgers will play for a lot less money than Stafford. Stafford's been vastly underpaid, and he wants like $45-50 million a year.
And the more teams you get involved, the higher the price goes up, and the more the likelihood he does move on from the Rams.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, John. Is that the Rams aren't saying, it's kind of cutthroat, right? But they're not saying, yeah, for sure you're gone, but if a team offers Stafford
2 years, $100 million,
what he's worth, I don't think that the Rams are going to match that. That's just what the talk is now, and which is concerning if you're a Patriots fan. But I digress. Let's talk about the top of the free agents with wide receivers. What are you hearing about T. Higgins and Godwin, and the opportunity that they could be franchised? If they are franchised, could that just mean that there's a trade? What are you hearing?
Yeah, some folks I talked to yesterday expect T. Higgins to go back to Cincinnati, Chris Godwin to remain in Tampa Bay. And this isn't much, because of what's been projected publicly, which both teams are going to do. We have confidence. We're close. Kind of put the onus on the player through the media that if the deal doesn't get done, hey, it's not our fault. But Tampa Bay historically has done a really good job of retaining its core players. And guys love playing with Baker Mayfield. Are they right? We'll see. But I would tend to agree. The way that Godwin, as we know, extended his extension window, gives you pause and say, hey, why would he do that if they weren't close or at least within the ballpark? So to me, I think the Patriots, and we heard this from Mike Vrabel yesterday, and I wrote this up, when they talk about exploring all three avenues, trade, free agency, and the draft for number one receivers, they're going to have to do it because, like a lot of years, and this is following the quarterbacks and left tackle, receivers just don't get to the free agent market. And I told and asked Elliot Wolf this a year ago, I said, hey, what's your plan? This just doesn't happen anymore. It's like, oh, we'll see. Well, we're seeing right now. And it looks like you're going to have to pick from some over-the-hill stars or some number twos. And Mike Vrabel said when it came specifically to number one receivers yesterday, usually you have to draft them. And at least in Tennessee, they had a second-round pick. His name was A.J. Brown, and he hit before they traded him. I think they look at that probably right now as their most likely path to getting eventually a number one receiver.
Mike Vrabel met the media yesterday. He said a lot of the right things that you would hope he would say. Your quick impressions of his press conference yesterday.
Yeah, I think he was in command, which is what everyone else said. I think there was also a good balance of urgency with saying, hey, look, we're here to win. We're here to do this now. We got to get going. We got a lot of trades and spending. If we swing and miss, well, we get 2 more strikes. So you better have a plan for strike 2 and hopefully not strike 3 when they're looking at their options in free agency. And so I like that. I wrote today that I think everything he said, stuff I've heard, things we've seen over the last, 5-6 weeks, he's pulling the Patriots back towards a Belichick model. So while they want to be aggressive in free agency and they're going to be prepared and all that sounds good, this team is, again, changing in a very foundational way. Like everything goes through him. And the way they set up the power structure where he's basically saying without saying, hey, personnel control is mine, is a big shift. And that's just how they prefer to roll in New England, with the head coach kind of having the juice and everything built around him. And everything Mike Vrabel said yesterday reinforced that idea that the power structure is back to what we all knew for 24 years with Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. No, go ahead, John.
We got time for one more.
Okay, I was just going to say, Elliot Wolf meets the media today. What do you hope to hear from him? Because we've been talking about the dynamic between he and Vrabel.
Yeah, honestly, guys, I don't have high expectations for Elliot because every time he's spoken, he's put at least like a toe in his mouth. And it's something that I think, yeah.
When's he speaking?
Not a full foot. 1 p.m., yes. Get excited. Yeah, take a nap.
Tease.
And, yes. So we'll see. I mean, if he wants to firmly answer the personnel question, be like, yes, everything runs through Mike, that'd be great. I think we know without it, but his perspective, on the receiver class, on arm length for offensive tackles as we get to know Will Campbell at LSU, a possible pick in number 4 would be great. So those things are the top of my list, but I'm not holding my breath for any big revelations given his history and given the fact he's probably looking to do better in the last 3 or 4 times we've ever spoken with him.
All right, go throw up and get some sleep and have a good time tonight. We appreciate it, Andrew. Andrew Callahan from the Herald, you're the man. Thanks so much, dude.
Off to the gym. Anytime, guys.
All right, take it easy. All right, here are the headlines. We got a big contest on the way.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics got 24 points from Jaylen Brown. They won their 6th in a row last night, 111-101 in Toronto. They're in Detroit tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Bruins lost their 4th in a row. They blew a 3-0 second-period lead and fell to Toronto in overtime in their own building, 5-4. Mitch Marner scored twice for the Maple Leafs, and that includes the game winner. Bruins play the Islanders at TD Garden tomorrow night. And last but not least, the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday, 6-1. They play Tampa Bay today at JetBlue Park. Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendricks will both get their first work of the spring. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road, because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub. Looking for a great value for lunch? Visit the 99 Restaurant for their new daytime deals menu, available Monday through Saturday until 5 p.m. Try the Vermont Cheddar Chicken Sandwich, flatbread combos, and 6 new hearty sandwiches. You gotta love the nines.
In a world with banks based elsewhere creating an even more distant banking relationship with you, it's nice to know that at Brookline Bank, our commitment to local banking means closer connections to our communities, lending decisions made here, and more personal customer service. Discover how local banking can make a
channel. I mean, there were many things. No.
Rebecca didn't do it for you?
No.
Okay.
I was done by 9 o'clock on Thursday nights. I'd already gone through 4 or 5.
No, Shelley Long.
No, I didn't find Shelley Long attractive at all.
Wasn't attractive.
I still question that casting. I know it was very successful. That show didn't do very well when it first started, by the way. They used to give shows a chance.
Oh.
Neither did Seinfeld, obviously, as you all know. And maybe rightly so.
Yeah,
because
that first season.
That first season, not so great. Doesn't translate as well as the others. But how specific can we get? And here's my thing with this game. A lot of you are going to go, this game, I don't get it. But the people that do get it are going to love it. Because this is all based on something that my friend said that made me laugh as hard as anything that a friend of mine has ever said. And that is, we were talking about the Brady Bunch years ago, and he goes, I'm not Alice, I'm Peg. And then he started to sing the music that was playing on the record player that the girls put on to have, they're like, hey, Peg, check out this sweet rock and roll. Okay, sorry. Hey, Kay, check out this sweet rock and roll. And he started imitating the song, and I was like, oh, Jesus, that's the song. And I started, like, losing my mind because it was like Billy West doing Larry from the Three Stooges. You're just like, geez. Or Craig Gass doing Paul Stanley not on stage.
No one else would know what that is in that moment. I know exactly what you're doing, and it's perfect.
And that's why it's so funny. Like, when I first heard Craig Gass doing Paul Stanley's, I was like, oh, I couldn't stop laughing. All right,
so we all watch a lot of sitcoms growing up. Fred, you watch more than anyone, so I expect you to do very well in this game. We're not going to quiz you on sitcom theme songs or characters. Instead, we're going to quiz you on the music that plays when they change scenes.
When it's time to change, then it's time to change. Don't bite the tiger.
So imagine
you can tell it's a live audience by that laughter.
Yes, the dissolve going from one scene to another in a sitcom. There'd be a short musical interlude. See if you can identify the sitcom based on the music that you hear.
Yeah, just real quick, Seinfeld, ba-dum-dum-dum-dum. Like they would play the bass.
Right.
In Friends, it would be, they...
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
So those are two obvious things.
And I will start you off, I think, pretty easy here.
Okay.
All right, with a couple of gimmies here that you should be able to, I would think, get right away.
I do try to make my pickles better every year. It means so much to me.
Oh, boy.
Is that... Do you need a second one from this show? I am very, very surprised.
Okay, it's old. That wasn't Leave It to Beaver, because that wasn't Barbara Billingsley.
This is familiar to me too. It's like scratching the back of my head.
Yeah.
It's not Happy Days.
Come on, guys. I honestly, this is... It's the Andy Griffith Show. Come on. I gave you a layup on the first one. Everyone's seen every episode of the Andy Griffith Show, the kerosene cucumbers.
I do try to make my pickles better every year. It means so much to me.
Oh, disappointing. You did not get the first one, which is the
Dirty
show
Pool.
that we've all...
Dirty Pool.
All right. You know what? I'll make it truly easy for you on this one.
No, it's Brady Bunch. Let me finish it. Mischief is in the air. That's the Mischief is in the air one.
There was something going on with Peter in this episode where he had a job and he wanted to keep working, and I was only listening to the audio, so I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh, that's when Peter gets the job.
Is it a butcher or?
Yeah, he gets a job at a butcher. Not to be confused with Greg, where he gets a job for his dad, delivering plans, and takes a little stop at a newsstand where the plan falls out of the cylinder, and here we go.
Yeah. All right, very good. So you're 1-1 so far. Identify this transition music from a sitcom.
Play it again. Is that Full House?
Oh, no, Freddie. Comedian, cocaine-fueled comedian turned sitcom actor.
The Home Improvement?
Yeah.
Oh.
That guitar was the giveaway at the beginning.
It's a little ominous.
It is for Home Improvement.
Well, I mean, I can go woof, do 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 do. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know Home Improvement. You know, there was one where that the wife had to get a full mastectomy, not mastectomy, a
hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy.
Oh, because she was hysterical. That's where the word comes from.
Well, sometimes things are named the right thing.
I don't know if that's true. All right, let's see if Fred and or Wallach feel free to chime in. At any
Wallach was
point.
playing Dungeons and Dragons. He didn't have time for this stuff. Is there a reason I have a boner? That's the Golden Girl.
You know that. Wow.
Yeah, they're going to the Lanai on that one.
I thought I was going to trip you up on that one and really get after you because that's allegedly one of your favorite shows of all time.
Oh, it's not one of my favorite shows. I just masturbated to it.
Okay. All right. How about this one? Now, I'm throwing a bit of a curveball at you. This could be a trick question because it is not a sitcom.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't. I can't do it.
But it's a show we mentioned yesterday. A lot of music in this show. A lot of driving scenes.
Rockford Files?
Wow, very good, Fred.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair, but yeah, because no one can stick to the sitcom script in these parts. It's been this way my entire career.
Okay. We'll stick to the sitcom.
By the way, I got it right.
I'm going to tell you one more time.
Okay. Na, 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 na. And there's a little kid in it.
I'll give you a hint. This sitcom used all kinds of music, not just the stock production tracks needed for other shows. They were not above creating their own music on this show.
Oh, Cosby Show.
Wow, very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
And sometimes it'd just be lip syncing as an adorable gift to the grandparents on their anniversary.
Can I guess what's happening in that scene?
Ooh.
Can I guess? And it's not a joke about Cosby. That Ruby has discovered that Rudy has discovered that her father is having a can of soda and a big submarine sandwich, which he's not supposed to have.
Close. No, jumping into the bed too early, and he says, "What are you doing? Why are you jumping up and down like that? I didn't want to wake you up." I don't know. It was a non-joke.
There was about 7 episodes where Claire is really on Cliff about eating unhealthy. And so he'll go, "What do you have here? I got a bag of potato chips and a big hoagie, and they got the soda." And then he dicks around for so long that ultimately he's discovered if he just would have ate it right away, he would have. And you're like, "Eat it, Cliff! Like, why are you waiting? You're gonna get caught."
All right, we have 2 more. Here we go. These are sitcom scene change sounds.
There's an uncle.
Okay.
There's another uncle. And there's 3 adorable scamps. That house is full, mother effer. That's Stamos like, "One more time!"
All right, last one. This is going to be the ultimate test for both of you. See if you can guess the sitcom scene change based on this alone.
Saved by the Bell.
Oh Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I had a longer one ready in case you couldn't get it.
Ready, T.
Hold on. Let's listen to the longer one.
Man. Let's say about that. Ding, ding.
Fred, you did very well. I'm very impressed.
Well, the only one I got wrong was the Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith.
The Andy Griffith is the only one I got wrong, which was kind of a screwball one. In Rockford Falls, I wouldn't have gotten it except
Home Improvement. I had to give you.
Home Improvement. Yeah. I didn't.
But you got Saved by the Bell, Golden Girls, Full House, Cosby Show,
and Rockford Falls.
Day by day, it's hard to see.
All right, thank you.
Changes you've been through.
You could do that again, and I would do just as well. I'm a big loser. A lot of time alone. And this is kids before pornography was so readily available. This is what you, not so much the Brady Bunch. Oh, Peter. You're going to be on a reality show with Vern Troyer. Slow down. You got a long life to live. All right, so we'll be back. Forsberg is going to be in studio with us.
Time to change.
You're listening to Toucher and Hook.
Celsius energy drinks.
Celtics won their 6th in a row last night, 111-101 in Toronto. Jaylen Brown scored 24 points, and Jason Tatum added 19 to go with 11 assists on a night when the team was down their top 3 big guys and Drew Holiday.
I mean, yeah, we wanted this one. Last time they celebrated when they beat us. I mean, that's to be expected. Everybody can play hard and better against us. So, we came here with a chip on our shoulder, and we was going to figure out a way to win this game.
They'll play in Detroit tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dallas and the Lakers played their first game against each other last night since the big Luka Doncic trade, and Luka had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists for his new team, the Lakers, in a 107-99 victory. At TD Garden last night, Toronto got a goal with 46 seconds left in regulation to tie up the Bruins at 4, and then Mitch Marner scored his second goal of the game in overtime to lead the Leafs to a 5-4 victory. David Pastrnak 2 goals in the loss. The Bruins will host the Islanders at TD Garden tomorrow night. In Patriots news, Mike Vrabel told the media yesterday that he expects his team to be very aggressive in free agency, and the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday in Venice, Florida, 6-1. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the new Daytime Deals menu at the 99. Available Monday through Saturday until 5 p.m. Enjoy new specials like the flatbread combos or the Vermont cheddar chicken sandwich. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
New England plays here.
Down the right side, there's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Peyton Pritchard has been so good tonight. Derek White, left-hand dribble, sets himself up for a good night 3.
And that was why Peyton Pritchard made that play, giving you an extra opportunity.
Celtics by 12 with a minute 40.
And Wu-Tang.
Yes. Was this in like the 90s at Great Woods? Yeah.
So, but Zach De La Rocha.
Zach De La Roca.
He had broken his ankle the night before in New York. And so they weren't sure if he was going to come up and be able to do the concert. Now, remember, this was pre-internet, and so no one knew how to get the information about whether he would get here. And I think it was another rock radio station that you did not. No, not the one you killed. But
thank you. But it was certainly one of the ones Adam killed.
Yeah.
Also not one he killed.
Whoa. So it was FNX.
No, FNX he killed.
Yes.
Oh no, so it was AAF.
Yeah. So they came on at whatever their afternoon program was at that point and said he is on his way up from New York. Everybody can still go to Mansfield for this concert. Problem was they didn't arrive till 10:30 at night. So Wu-Tang had to play for 4 straight hours. They played Cream, no lie, 4 times. It was cash rules everything, and they just kept doing it, and no one cared because it was awesome.
Chris, were you on the lawn or were you down in the seats?
I was in the lawn, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, because I was on the. It's funny. I was at FNX and I was on the air doing the night show, and I had friends who I was supposed to go to the show with friends and had to work, so they were one friend had a cell phone, was calling me, and I was taking the calls and putting them on the air, and it was just absolute bedlam. People had tore the whole lawn up and threw it all over the place.
Can I ask you why Wu-Tang why the venue would ask them to stay on for that long, and why they would agree to?
Angry mob, honestly, it would have been. I mean, if
but sometimes you just got to call the show. If I'm Wu-Tang, I'm no.
They would have done that today, but I think it was different back then.
Because if I was Wu-Tang, I'd be absolutely not.
Which
I've never. That's so funny, and that's a really interesting story because I've never heard of a band going okay, yeah, we'll go over, because but especially by that amount, no, the contract says explicitly this is the amount of time we are performing. Maybe I'll go, I'll buy you another 20 minutes.
But remember, RZA was probably just pay us another X $1,000,
but that's
and we'll just keep going. And they were yes, whatever, just play, because if you stop playing, people are going to stop ripping up the turf and start ripping each other up. And
you're aware of the music business. That negotiation does not happen quickly and isn't resolved in that fashion.
What I'm saying is I think the venue would have been motivated to resolve it quickly.
I understand. Yeah, but okay. But when you're on a major tour at a major venue, it's not just as simple as.
No.
I mean, maybe the guy went into a safe and brought out like 20 grand and like put it on the side of the stage. I don't know. Maybe that was the case.
I need like a documentary done on this. Like I'm sure Great Woods has had its share of moments, but that to me,
Well, it shows they're professionals. I mean, if they were willing to stay on there for that long, I'll tell you a story about a band repeating songs. Do you remember Pharrell's band NERD? Mm-hmm. Pharrell was a great guy. I got high with him one time, and he says he doesn't do drugs. But so
Okay, that's not doing drugs.
No,
Yeah,
not really.
Smoking a little dope.
This was a long time ago too. He had the most weed I've ever seen in my entire life. That one person had. It had to be over a pound. And he was really nice. And one of the guys from NERD was hitting on my girlfriend very hard, who became my wife, just right in front of me, and it was pretty funny. They opened up a show for our radio station where they were to perform 5 songs, Christopher Forsberg.
Yes. How many songs did they play?
They played whatever the hit of theirs was. 2 of those 5 songs. They opened with it and they closed with it. They did not have 5 original songs to play. And they weren't playing instruments, so it just would have been a matter of just doing something. Was it Rock Superstar was Cypress Hill?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder what...
you're talking about NERD?
Yeah,
Lap Dance was the...
No, that wasn't the one.
Okay.
It was something else. It was, but they played it twice.
No, I kind of respect bands that do that, especially when they know the audience and they know the venue. We saw Modern English was doing a free show on Fremont Street in Las Vegas. But we must have like friends in town who wanted to go to Fremont Street and like, yeah, we'll take you down there, fine. And we walked by when Modern English had just started their set with Melt With You, and walked down to some casino, walked back 22 minutes later, and they were closing their set with Melt With You.
Well, you know
Open
what?
and closed a 6-song set with the same song.
Yeah,
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
If you're playing Fremont Street, Donut, you're just playing to passersby. I would imagine that
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, give them their hits.
They may have just played it nonstop for all I know, because we were gone for 15 minutes.
The Scene, 1988. Ooh. Ray Capo. Youth of Today goes out to Los Angeles.
Rave Today.
He's out there, stays with a young man, big fan of Youth of Today. Ends up staying with him for a month. That man's name? Zach De La Roca. There's not going to be enough Celtics to talk about, but I do want to say that.
You don't think?
Yeah, no, I know for a fact.
Yeah.
So the station and Nick, they make good jobs putting up Instagram videos at Toucher and Hardy or at 98.5 The Sports Hub or at Fred Toucher for these. So he put one up of just me saying the Bruins, after last night's loss, need to make trades. John agrees with me. So I look at the comments because I'm just interested in what people have to say about the Bruins. It's really a super innocuous clip. I didn't even share it because it's so innocuous. Time to fire Sweeney. The team couldn't close out a tic-tac-toe. Take off that Super Tigers hat. I get it. Sweeney and Chiarelli holding on too long, bad drafts and bad signings. I want to get the pulse of the people. 978 Marcus says, morning show is effing horrible. Fair enough. So I go to Marcus's profile.
Yeah.
Listen to what his like little like description of himself is. Appreciate life. Grateful to have a sense of humor. Heart emoji. Ladies, this guy's not telling you the truth. This is a bait and switch. I don't know what the hinge says, but the first day it doesn't look like it's going to go the same as advertised. No. Appreciate life, do you?
A little bit of anger inside of it.
Yeah, do you? It's 7 in the morning. You're appreciating life pretty good there, happy fans. Like, yeah, the show sucks, and that's great.
Yeah.
But, like, are you really, like, you're living this Buddhist kind of, like, gratitude-style life? Okay, I don't get it. I'm not buying it in that sense. All right, so here we are, Christopher Forsberg.
Never read the comments.
No, yeah. I think it's funny. I really
It is.
do. I don't generally. But I was interested in what if people agreed with about the Bruins.
Isn't that the worst part? I do that with our podcast. I'll be like, oh, I wonder if people really like that segment. And they're like, stupid mustache. And I'm like, oh, you know what? It's only going to make me want to do it more.
No, if you try to do like a segment that's like funny or something, you want both sides.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was just more curious about like with the Bruins thing. I actually wanted to know,
For sure.
like, kind of if we should revisit it again to this show. Well, I wonder what people are saying. And like, look, the morning show effing sucks as the comments go. That's great, like fine. But I did think it was funny because I clicked on the guy's thing and it was like, hey, life is gratitude.
Yeah.
Heart emoji.
It's a journey. Enjoy the ride.
But it's 7 a.m. What are you doing? Oh, I'm telling them I'm going out there and telling people they effing suck.
Yeah. Unsolicited venom.
I know.
Venom. It's 7 a.m.
It's a great way to start the day.
And not like,
you could wake up next to this fella.
Yeah. This guy doesn't have a temper at all. I love that stuff. You phony prick. Like gratitude. You wrote that so chicks will see it, dude.
Somebody has already replied to his comment that says,
good.
You're so positive, insightful, and smart.
Yeah, right. Like learn more ladies
heart eye emojis and lips.
Yeah, lure more ladies in under false pretenses, you phony prick. All right, anyway. I suck. How about this? You suck. All right, so John's very concerned. He says the Celtics, sure, they won last night.
He said he was sick with worry.
But he did say he was concerned. They're playing a very hot Pistons team today. A Pistons team that could use not to play in the play.
Tatum had to play 40 minutes last night. He had to play center last night. He's just...
Jaylen Brown looked like he got dinged up last night. He got 3 big men out yesterday. Drew Holiday can't play back-to-back. I was just worried about the game this evening. And then you got Cleveland coming up after that and Denver coming up after that. It's a tough stretch, and they don't seem to be full speed.
Yeah, I think the Jalen thing concerns me most because if there's been one dude they've put on Cade the most, I'm pretty sure it's Jalen. And Jalen likes that challenge. But the Pistons are really good. I think they got a sneaky chance to get up to 4. And then... I'll be interested. The thing with the Pistons is then they'd be lined up with the Cavs for the second round, the JB Bickerstaff Bowl. Like a team that discarded him versus the team he's reinvigorated. Fred, what's the scouting report on these Pistons? Do we have to worry tonight?
Yeah. I just know that first of all, I was surprised they were so bad last year because I feel they drafted fairly well. And, Cade Cunningham was a hyped number. Like, he was supposed to be like a legit number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
And you kept hearing like basketball, like I hate using like let's use geeks like basketball geeks,
Sure.
like people like super into it. Like you watch. Like this guy has got this unbelievable like feel for the game and skill set. And the exciting thing about Cade Cunningham this year is he's actually becoming
I think
superstar.
You could see it last year.
Yeah.
It just didn't translate to wins, and which is normally what happens. Like you can see the superstar potential. The team is learning how to win. They're too young to do it. Sometimes they add some veteran pieces. Like Malik Beasley's been awesome this year. I wonder if like he's going to inject himself into that 6th man of the year conversation now and push Peyton Pritchard a little bit. But I just think Cade they know how to win now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Like. I keep going back to it. We all get hung up on like, oh man, what if Giannis figures it out and the Bucks, and what if they make a surge? And the teams that scare me are the younger teams that are on the come up. Like Indiana showed you last year. There's something to youth and exuberance and like guys figuring it out, and that's why the Pistons, they're going to be there for a while. And if they're out of the draft range now, and honestly, if they get up to the 4th seed, it's going to be harder to build out that roster. But I got to think they have cap space and like the ability to do some things, so it's going to be a really intriguing team.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like their roster is interesting. I mean, it is. I don't know. It's they took some pieces that didn't work out, but at least that Thompson kid, whose brother's better than him, is in the starting lineup. At least that's happening.
And they were hurt earlier. Like Durant got hurt, right? Like I think they're gonna be better. And like I said, this little stretch is no fluke. And now tonight is the test. Like how close are they to playing against a legitimate championship contender? And look, we'll see how many people Boston has out there, but. It's gonna be. I like this little challenge.
Yeah, and John's very worried about it.
He hasn't slept in 3 days.
Very worried.
Which of these upcoming games interests you the most?
I think tonight interests me. I know what Cleveland's about, and Denver is Denver. I'm curious to see how good Detroit is. Like you were just saying, Detroit has a lot of interest. Cade Cunningham didn't look out of place at the All-Star game. That's one of those things. You've been waiting for him to be good. They drafted Ivy in the top 10. I think he's their second best scorer.
He's out. He's out. I think he might be back for the playoffs. But Ivy's a kid that they took that people thought was underdrafted, who's like a real exciting player, but
Yeah.
he didn't play well until this year. But
And Tobias Harris has bounced around a lot,
Yeah, I
but
don't care for him.
But they don't depend on him for much. They depend on him for 15 points a game, not 20 or 25, so he can fit in well. And Duran's a guy they drafted when he was, I think, 18 or 19, and this is his third or fourth year in the league. Now, you ask him to make a shot outside of 5 feet, it's a challenge, but a very good rebounder and very energetic. Just the kind of team you don't want to face on the second night of a back-to-back like this.
Yeah, it's weird. And the food's up there is really good. I've told you guys, like Little Caesars Arena, like I hope to keep the Celtics away from the pregame spread, or else they're going to be moving even slower out there.
So you're hoping for maybe a first-round matchup against the Pistons.
Well, I actually think they'll be the 4 if they keep surging. So I think they'll get. So that'll be 4-5 matchup. They'd get like the Bucks or something like that, and then the winner would play Cleveland. And I do think there's a chance to push the Cavs a little bit.
At the moment, if the season ended today, they'd get the Knicks in round 1. Yeah, they'd be
the 6. And even that is intriguing to me because like the Knicks with
It'd be a massive pain in the ass for New York to get rid of them, especially since they're going to have like 5 people hurt by the time we get to the playoffs.
So I'm just curious if Indiana is going to stay where they are in the stand. Indiana, I don't like them in the playoffs. Get them out of the playoffs.
I've said it every year I remember talking to Max about it. I hate playing that team.
We were ranking
the
the Eastern Conference threats. Like, really?
I
don't like them. They don't have any star power. I don't like
You don't like Halliburton and Siakam now?
Siakam's a good player, but he's not like someone you want to watch. Halliburton's fun to watch, but Halliburton hasn't been that great this year, has he? Like it's just they're a team. Look, Cleveland's playing out of their minds. The Celtics are the champions. The Knicks are the Knicks with the moves, and they've made some moves. Milwaukee's got Giannis. Detroit's this young team on the come. And I could understand with Cade Cunningham, it was Lisa Starr. And then Indiana. Like, I don't like it. All right, by the way, Forsberg is brought to you by, is Talking Green with us. Chris Forsberg is presented by Bentley University, where good business begins and leaders come to learn. It's a very exciting time, and we will have more with Chris as he's in studio today in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When the game tips... Isaac's decision, it fascinates me as someone in media that's the angle they're going, because if I was in management, I would be saying, no. I would not be doing this at all. But that is the decision they made. We'll see how it works out for them. You got a lot of time to fill. And when you are you're not going to talk about a sport that's the only sport that's going on for a few months there.
Did you ever watch a Sunday night baseball game?
Not often, but it's programming. Like it's on, and then you have
and people
access
want
to the
live
players.
programming. Like
I'll tell you this: the World Series last year had triple the numbers in the NBA Finals.
Wow,
it was 15 million to 5 million.
There are a lot of old men in the world.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying their demographics are great, and I'm not saying to not talk about the NBA. I just see NBA ratings declining, and the MLB ratings being they are what they are. But in a big matchup, in a final situation. And you can't say the finals in the NBA last year was a bad matchup because you had one of the marquee franchises against one of the big stars. Compared
to Yankees-Dodgers, I mean, that's...
But who would be a bigger team to have in the finals than the Celtics? The Lakers, that's it. The Knicks, I guess. But the Knicks never make the finals.
Right.
So, I mean, the Celtics are... If it's not the Celtics, maybe two other teams would garner more of an audience. I don't think it would have mattered who played in that finals.
Probably not. A Yankees-Dodger against the two biggest markets and the biggest star in baseball.
It just proves that baseball can. My only point is it proves baseball can do it. A lot of people wouldn't believe you when you said that they had triple the ratings of the NBA Finals, regardless of who was playing. It just proves they can do it. I don't know how wise it is to ignore the sport completely.
Yeah, I'll say I have my best childhood friends are all obsessed with baseball, and it's rare because I do not pay attention to baseball at all. I do not have any interest, and I get it, right? But I do think it's when I was a kid, I loved Baseball Tonight, and when I hated when ESPN moved away from that, and for whatever reason, they see a more investment in basketball, which
is basketball because baseball is a fool's errand to talk about every day and to break down every day. It's just not. It is a fool's errand because the teams aren't doing that. The 162 games.
It's a lot. Even 80. Like I say it all the time. 82 basketball games. Last night, the post game show. I'm sitting there thinking, like, how are we going to make this interesting? Like that Celtic-Toronto game was not one of the
I'll ask you this. Just say 82 games. Do you think after a loss in February, Missoula's kicking over Gatorade buckets and yelling at the team?
So imagine game 112 in Milwaukee or whatever.
Because the most important thing in baseball is to forget.
Yeah.
You're failing at such a high rate. Like you have to be able to get over that. Like you can't sit there and it's the opposite kind of the NFL, where everything they showing you film and you look at you stupid, you completely you didn't pull correctly or da 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 da. Baseball, if you sat there and showed someone, hey idiot, da da da. No, it's got to be hey, I see something in your swing that maybe we could work on, da da. You can't, or the idea of telling a pitcher, stupid. Jesus Christ! You went out there 4 runs in the first. You piece of garbage. I gotta go out there 5 days from now. This isn't good at all.
Yeah.
Or you give up a 2-run home run and then Well, no. The mental part of it is I gotta forget about it. So this it's just stupid to me that you would sit here and you would analyze every baseball game. It's not meant to be like that, and so. I'm not even talking about how much you cover it. I'm just saying just to turn your back on the sport altogether. I don't know if that's a wise decision. But there you go.
So last night you had the 2 of the 3 or 4 biggest stars in the game playing on the same team last night and going up against Dallas for the game was what it was. I think it was interesting.
Yeah, it was more competitive than I thought.
Yeah, that Doncic went out there, and I think it was his first triple-double with the Lakers that he's had so far. But we were discussing this earlier. Could the Lakers make any kind of noise in the postseason? See, Fred and Wallach dismissed him. We were up against it. I don't think they could play outright spoiler to a team and knock somebody out early, but I think they could push one of those teams in an early playoff round to more games than they want to play, and we've seen it happen to the Celtics in years past when they should be getting past Atlanta in 4 games, and instead they got to play 6 or 7, and it screws up a team's momentum in the playoffs. I think the Lakers could do that to somebody.
So I would go even further. When talent is king, and I know LeBron is 40, and I know it's tough to think he can do it every 21 different playoff games or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. He's been there. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment. I don't think seeding matters a lot. Now, it might just come down to Oklahoma City is supremely talented. Denver's got Jokic. Maybe they just don't have enough to compete with them. But is there anyone else in the West that you look and sit there and say, that team couldn't beat? What do you have the standings up?
I do.
What are they up to?
They're in fourth. They're tied for fourth with Houston, and they have the nod, apparently. But the three teams ahead of them, Oklahoma City, Memphis, and Denver, all have good centers.
Fair.
The Lakers have no centers.
So
I think it was Jackson Hayes. They started at center last night. They don't have a good big man on that team, and I understand LeBron can do a lot of things, but he's 40 now. It's a little different. And you know this better than anyone. The matchups are what matters when you get to that point in the season. They don't have anyone to match up with Chet Holmgren. They don't have anyone to match up with Jaren Jackson. They don't have anyone to match up with Nikola Jokic. That's a huge thing over a 7-game series.
And it's weird, though, because they just played Denver and broke their 9-game winning streak, and that was
regular season. I'm telling
100%.
you, over a 7-game season, or a 7-game series, it's going to be different.
I would say if I'm the top teams in the West, if I'm Oklahoma City, I'm probably more worried about that matchup based on experience than I necessarily am if I'm Denver. Because Denver's just we've been there and done it too. We have a great mismatch with Jokic. But
at the same time, what Hardy says is probably true. Maybe the Lakers face Oklahoma City in the second round and push them to 6 or 7, and then OKC has to turn around and play Denver in the next round.
Not outright.
That's where the problem
Not
would
outright spoiler, but enough to screw up the narrative.
If the Lakers get Oklahoma City to a 7th game, I might take the Lakers in that. If Oklahoma screws around and goes to a 7th game with the Lakers,
it happened last year.
Then Doncic and LeBron mean a lot. I mean, then they've choked. And again, Oklahoma City's if it gets to a game 7, they've already choked.
And you see what these teams are capable and not capable of. And I know it's regular season, but what OKC did the other night with blowing that lead late against a good team that they wanted to beat and play well against
at home, by the way,
and couldn't figure it out. Yeah, I'm with you, Fred. Tell me what the odds are, and I'll tell you who I'm betting in a game 7 between Lakers and OKC.
I like them against. Well, I'll tell you the team I wouldn't want to play now is Golden State with Jimmy Butler, and you can say whatever you want, but they're not losing with them. And but I wouldn't want to play them. And you get into a game 7, and you got 2 killers. I again, it's the same scenario. If you take me to a game 7 against Golden State, I don't like that. They don't have the talent to run with Denver, Oklahoma City. But again, you screw around in one of those series and you get to a game 7, you're counting that team out?
Golden State's won 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
The West is, the bigger picture here is the West is tough, right? As much as I heard everyone screaming before the season, the East is so much better. You kind of look at the Celtics' path, and you feel pretty good if they're the 2-3.
Well, the Knicks aren't going to beat them because the Knicks can't beat anyone good.
Right. And then, first round, we'll see who comes out of the play-in, but I don't.
No one good's going to be in the play-in because of the injuries with Orlando, right? And so no one good out of that. No one's coming good.
Orlando could, Orlando has been frisky against you, and their physicality gives you a little trouble. But again, I don't think
they're not going to beat you in a series,
exactly.
Right?
So it all comes down to Celtics versus Cavs in the East. Meanwhile, in the West, you're like, oh man, if Oklahoma City has to go through let's say where the Warriors right now.
Warriors are in a play-in.
So literally, they could be Warriors,
but they
Thunder.
won't be. Yeah, they won't
They should
be.
surge up.
Golden State is 8th, and they're only a half game out of 6. So I didn't realize it was that close.
Golden State's going to not be in the play-in. I don't think.
Who drops? I really should just pull
Clippers. The Clippers.
No, not the Rockets. Rockets are playing well. Clippers are the only team. They're 5 games behind Houston for 5th.
Every team in that top 8 is a challenge to a level that the East.
Yeah, and Minnesota's 7th, by the way.
And Minnesota, everyone's darling last year. So the Western Conference is very difficult,
which is good for the Celtics because everything should play out where by the time
beat the crap out of each other.
Everyone's softening everybody up. Then hopefully.
Well, I will say this though, and I guess it's LeBron's decision, but LeBron is playing, and to his credit, is playing back-to-backs and is playing a tremendous amount of minutes. And, he's like a superhero, obviously. Right. but I am curious.
He'll ramp down in April, and then
yeah, because it's like Olympics. Then you're playing back-to-backs in the.
That's
in
a lot.
I mean, he's played an awful lot of basketball.
I think same deal. These guys know, especially the veterans, know how to pace themselves. And so last night, important game. Everyone was gonna go all out to show out in that game. But I think you'll see when the Lakers are slotted in a spot that they're comfortable in, you'll see the downshift. But Wallach, you're not wrong. Like they got some issues that they got to figure out. I just think it all comes back to talent sometimes. And like last year, I dismissed the Mavs a little bit. I was like, Kyrie, Luka.
Well, yeah. But that wasn't like dumb.
So,
That wasn't like a dumb thing like to dismiss. I mean, Dallas really had no business being in that NBA final. I mean, they didn't put up much of a fight.
I'm very happy they didn't have to play Minnesota or Denver in the final.
I mean,
I would have much rather Dallas.
Yeah, I wouldn't knock you. I wouldn't beat yourself up too bad about discounting Dallas in that. And what's interesting about Dallas is if they can get remotely healthy, apparently they're saying Kyrie has been like reinvigorated, that they showed faith in him, and he went off last night.
He had a big night.
So if they can get some of these big men back, that's the real story in the West. That's not who's winning it. Is like who goes further if Dallas is healthy, Dallas because the whole thing was. Obviously, the Lakers are better in the future, but right now this makes Dallas the better team. We'll see. We'll see.
I need
how
a pathway to
get.
a Dallas-Laker playoff matchup. It would mean
I'd even watch that. I don't know. It'd be on very late. But I would be very interested in that. I hate JJ Redick. I think that he's a piece of garbage.
You don't find J.J. Redick pompous at all?
When he was, I will say, when he was talking, I saw the clip after they beat Denver where he was like, "Man, guys, I was so excited for this game, I couldn't sleep, and then I was over there doing my breathing exercises, and I was like, okay, just say like you were invested in this and you were proud of your
Whoa,
guys.
he has the Calm app. Imagine that. He learned box breath. What other ancient wisdom can you share with us? Did you put on a spoken meditation on the Calm app?
Jesus God.
In 4, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. Oh my God, JJ. What have you been to Tibet recently? What monk did you sit at the feet of and learn the wisdom? Breathing exercises. Oh, boy.
You can ask him that in person when you see him.
Or you could ask my son's AAU coach when he was in 6th grade about breathing exercises.
I would say Celtics-Lakers would be kind of fun. I don't think it's going to happen. The roadmap.
No, you don't want J.J. Redick in the finals. Let's not
but
go
then
crazy.
you'd stomp him, and then you'd get to be like, see what happens when
you don't want the Celtics stomping anyone in the finals. The Celtics for the basketball and for this town need to at least be up against it at some point in the playoffs.
Doesn't two in a row? I think it overrules any.
Yeah, but I'm saying in real time, dude. In real time, yeah. You want them winning a championship, and obviously
we
people
don't want them
that.
sweeping.
I don't. I need interest. I don't need them, rolling over everyone. I mean, that Cleveland series has got to be good. It would be nice. Look, the Pistons don't challenge them. The Bucks aren't going to challenge them. But I mean. If they're, you're not going to play the Knicks. I don't know.
I love when people do the exercise with the East. They're like, "Oh man, this is Cleveland. That's it.
But there's not a scenario they would play the Knicks, right?
No, they would.
Second round.
Okay, so it would be second round.
2-3.
Okay, so 2-3 would be okay. Yeah. All right. So
that's a 5-game series.
So Celtics, but Celtics Knicks at least. Because those New York fans.
Yeah, you get the juice a little bit.
Well, you get a lot of national attention because every single person that covers sports nationally is a Knicks fan.
You know what? Doris Burke would love that.
What are you doing?
We got to go to break. John.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
You'll notice audience,
the clock. That's
you
my
notice
fault.
audience that they're trying to force me into impression.
My fault.
All right.
You would have been entertained, Chris Forsberg.
All right.
Good to see you.
He listens. He knows enough about the Doris Burke. I'm behind the tree, sharpening and plotting. I'll be back and stronger than ever, and I thirst for blood. Hunting Doris Burke. I don't know. Now
Okay, everybody.
Now to the lanai for cheesecake. There you go. Thank you. All right.
You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
Well, you had to interrupt it. I was getting to the joke.
I thought you were done. My mistake.
No, there had to be a joke.
Oh, okay.
All right, Chris Forsberg. Thank you. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you all.
Timeout. No, that was my thing that was my saving by the bell reference. There was a time where Zach could stop time.
He could.
It's not later in the show, but earlier. All right. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate everyone watching on NBC Sports Boston, and we will be right back, and I will consult another radio station.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Mixed results for the local teams last night. Celtics won in Toronto 111-101. They're in Detroit tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Bruins, meanwhile, kicked away a 3-0 second period lead and lost in overtime to Toronto 5-4 at TD Garden. Mitch Marner's second goal of the game was the difference. The Bruins are 2 points out of a playoff spot. They host the Islanders tomorrow evening, and the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta 6-1 yesterday. They play Tampa Bay today at JetBlue Park, and Alex Bregman back in the lineup at third base, heading second. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Grey Goose and Patron. Ski, sip, and score with Grey Goose and Patron. Visit 985thesportshub.com/ski, sip, score to discover winter cocktail recipes like the Grey Goose Espresso Martini and the Patron Cranberry and enter to win the ultimate ski package. Must be 21 or older. Sip responsibly. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Get quality protein at Whole Foods Market. Save 20% on no antibiotics ever beef chuck roast and stew.
We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. For some reason, when Elvis Costello on Saturday Night Live switched to this song, it was controversy. It's like the lamest controversy of all time. And it kind of undermines the whole notion of Saturday Night Live was this huge kind of cultural force. But anyway, to show Hardy's grind, he not always was the co-host of a number one show, morning show. In fact, when BCN flipped to 98.5 The Sports Hub, Hardy had the hustle. And one of the things is that you're still doing this, right?
Yeah.
He is a DJ, so 5 hours a day he sits and plays tunes on the Lithium channel on satellite radio. And I will tell you, I'm so proud of him for still doing it, because there was a time where I was like, oh, wow, I know you just tape it beforehand and it's like kind of easy. I asked my agent, I'm like, should I be doing like one of these channels? And she goes, I won't do it. She's like, I'm not even going to them. It's not like I'm not taking my commission in pennies. And she's like, literally, like, I'm not doing it. Like, it's so not worth my time. And she's a great agent. She's just like, no. So this just speaks of, and I'm not putting him down. Like, Hardy was like grinding, like taking gigs and like getting it going. So he left on the printer the other day. Lithium is the network he's on, and Lithium is essentially like WBCN in 2001, 1999.
The channel is 90s alternative and grunge. So
yes,
with very few exceptions, we'll play a little like very late 80s, like we'll play 9 Inch Nails from Pretty Hate Machine, which actually came out in 89. And maybe a song or two from 2000, but for the most part, it's 1990 to 1999.
And Adam always wants me to break these things down, as he knows I'm a brilliant radio mind. But I will tell you this. You play 4 bangers in a row Saturday at 2 p.m.
Thank you.
You go Alice in Chains Wood, into Rancid Ruby Soho, into Soundgarden Pretty News, into Harvey Danger Flagpole Sitta. Those are all tremendous songs.
Boom! 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 Boom!
But then in that same hour,
well
you throw, and then you play the Weezer, the Sweater Song, which I love. I understand that you have to play Dave Matthews and Stone Temple Pilots. I get it. I don't like Nirvana's The Man Who Sold the World, but I get it. But then you go at 2:35. You just say, let's get back to a fad that lasted for 10 seconds.
Oh no! Is it Cherry Poppin' Daddies?
No, it's Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh,
It's this song. I couldn't remember it at all, but there was a time, kids, it was before I got into radio. It had to have been like 97 or 96.
It's right in there, Brian.
97, 98.
Brian Setzer Orchestra, all that.
Well, when I
nonsense.
worked at Borders, they were really pushing the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Jump, Jive, and Wail.
But I'm proud to say this happened when I was in a fraternity in college and not consuming any media. Why would they go, this is something that needs to be revisited?
Okay, so I blame the movie Swingers. I really do.
Yeah. No, I know that. Like, Swingers is a great movie, and that brought all this back. But why in 2025, with all those songs that you have to choose from, would they play the Squirrel Nut Zippers? Who remembers that fondly?
So I like this channel. I really like my boss who runs this channel. He's a good guy, and I enjoy this job. Having said that, there's a certain amount of security that I've gotten over the years. And, once the first few years of the sports, I'm like, okay, I think I don't necessarily have to do this anymore. So when I'm introducing songs like that on the weekends, you will hear me say things like, this is terrible. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm playing it. A, because I'm forced to. B, I don't know why you want to hear it. I can't imagine you would. This is from the most ill-advised period of 90s alternative music, but here it is for some reason because they're making me.
Is that the only swing song that's like on the Lithium master playlist, or do you guys play like the Zoot Suit Riot, Cherry Poppin' Daddies? You probably play Brian Setzer Orchestra, Jump, Jive, and Wail. No,
but we play me and the
you and me and the bottle makes three tonight. Yeah,
that's Swingers. Yes,
but there's an hour here that you play Space Hog, In the Meantime, which is a good song. Alice in Chains, Nutshell. When I Come Around, I liked when it first came out. Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger is a really good song. And then you play, I don't know, Suede, the Drowners, but I'm sure it's
That's
fine.
a Lithium deep cut.
That's fine. But then you go a little nod to Full House, because a gentleman on that inspired this album. The people need to hear this.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's like the one I didn't pull.
Oh,
so don't pull that one.
So that's got to be from Jagged Little Pill.
That's ironic. Don't you think?
I don't think we need to hear that.
Are there people that still want to hear that? Like, that seems like it was overplayed, existed, and now everyone realizes it sucks.
The only thing I find interesting about that song anymore, now that we know it's about Dave Coulier and we hit, that cat is out of the bag, the fact that it is the only reason why that song works on any level is A, it's kind of dirty, and B, it's Flea and Dave Navarro playing the bass and guitar on that.
Oh, I didn't
song.
know that.
So it's
you
you ought to
obviously
know.
that's not ironic. That's You Ought to Know,
Yeah.
which is a better song than Ironic. Ironic is a terrible song. And I will plead in ignorance of this. What is Toad the Wet Sprocket Good Intentions? Did you pull that?
It's hard to rely on my good intentions.
This was like the '90s version of this, like alternative Crowded House.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I liked Toad the Wet Sprocket. That's
Crowded
nice.
House are a bad band. So is this just a matter of the guy who runs the station, big Toad the Wet Sprocket guy?
No, I mean
they had hits. Yeah.
Something's Always Wrong was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, well, I wasn't around.
All I
for
Want.
that.
All I Want was probably the biggest one. Yeah.
But listen, you go, and then in the 1 p.m. hour, you go Collective Soul into Spin Doctors. So I got to give you credit for that. I mean, you're sticking around for those two. Let's just go to two diarrhea bands.
I think Collective Soul is a good example of a band that no one necessarily goes out of their way to hear them, but you won't turn off the radio when it comes on.
I will. And I'm friends with two of them. I'm still friends with two of them.
And you don't. So you
yeah.
kind of took a swipe at Stone Temple Pilots earlier. You don't like STP?
No. I didn't take a swipe at them. I said I understand why you're playing them. Like I didn't take a swipe at them. I would never like go out of my way to listen to Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, I would.
But I understand their appeal. Like I'm not above it. But since we don't have a ton of time, do you have the answer to my question, Adam? That I asked
Yes.
you? Okay.
Yes.
But first, you do have. I give the station credit. I gave you some good things they're doing. This is inexcusable that this is being played.
I'm gonna guess it's that you haven't told me what song it is, but I'm guessing.
No, hold.
Oh no,
is that not the one you were thinking of?
No.
So that is the song I introduced as saying it's the most divisive song we play.
No.
There's no.
That was a hit. This is what I don't get.
I don't have the beginning of it. God
Okay,
damn
right.
it, 12.
Do it one more time.
Hold it now and watch me hoodwink.
Wait, let
You make me
Hardy
stop
do it
there?
one more time. Then we got.
I believe it's been.
nailed it.
Very impressive, sir. Very impressive. Thank you.
By the way, real quick before we break, in a 6-hour shift, 4 Foo Fighters songs, 3 Red Hot Chili Peppers songs.
Red Hot Chili Peppers are a bad band. In retrospect, they suck. They had one album I liked at the time, and now I listen to it, and it's awful.
Mother's Milk?
Yeah, they have one good song, Knock Me Down.
Knock Me Down.
It's the one good song the Red Hot Chili Peppers ever occurred. I don't know who Anthony Kiedis. I know Anthony Kiedis loves very young girls, but I don't know what he did to take care of the record companies in order to play them so much. But we will be back. Billy Jaffe is here. We're running very late, but Adam let it go because it was Adam's conception, and that's the double standard we're living in under the rule of Adam 12.
That's right, Fred.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You know.
vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios.
This is your home for every Patriots game.
Look into the end zone, trying to keep the play alive. Falling down, he goes to the end zone. It's got it! Touchdown!
WBZ-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
A Beasley Media Group station.
Essential Sports Hub headline. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics were down their top three big men and Drew Holiday, and they were still able to win in Toronto last night, 111-101. Jason Tatum, 19 points and 11 assists. Jaylen Brown, a game-high 24 points, and the Celtics play again tonight in Detroit. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dallas played Los Angeles for the first time since the Luka Doncic trade late last night. Luka, 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists for L.A. in a 107-99 win. Bruins took a brutal loss last night, 5-4 in overtime to Toronto at TD Garden. Bruins led 3-0 midway through the second period and couldn't finish the Toronto Maple Leafs off. David Pastrnak, a pair of goals for the Bruins. Mitch Marner, a pair of goals for the Leafs, including the game winner. Bruins have lost 4 in a row. They host the Islanders tomorrow night. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel said yesterday he expects the team to be aggressive in free agency to get some new players on the team for next season. He also added he wants the goals set high for he and the franchise.
Our expectations aren't going to change. It's going to be to win the division. It's going to be to host home playoff games, and it's going to be to compete for championships.
Executive VP of Player Personnel Elliot Wolf will speak this afternoon. Travis Kelce is due back with Kansas City next season, and the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday 6-1. They face Tampa Bay and Fort Myers today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the new Daytime Deals menu at the 99. Available Monday through Saturday until 5 p.m. Enjoy new specials like the flatbread combos or the Vermont cheddar chicken sandwich. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston plays here.
Through the slot, close shot, save, rebound, score!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Saka, centered, Kiki shoots, Stolars a safe rebound, Stolars again! And that's going to do it for the end of the opening 20 minutes.
And you can win. You haven't much to lose.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Please subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Mike, you got an interesting thought. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I love Adam 12's edition of the show because he plays random songs, and I just picture him acting like a magician when he plays like the B-side of a Green Day song. He's like, remember that song? Yeah, that's your card. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
He gives like a knowing,
like he acts
sly
like he
smile.
did something.
Yeah.
You just press play. Like, calm down. Like, you don't like music that much.
Yes, I do.
Well, Hardy, I mean, what's been happening with Adam since he got back from his big vacation?
He's got car troubles.
Yeah.
Big car troubles.
Yeah.
So we need to get him an automobile.
There's been some discussion that Adam's still on vacation, that it was too much for him.
Where did he go?
New Hampshire and Maine.
Yeah, I went up to did do some skiing and snowboarding, Billy.
For a day, and then he went and sat at his dad's house and watched.
We didn't sit around. We had to do some roof raking. I was thinking of you, Hardy. You know, getting the roof rake out to clear things away.
That's where I
from
want to retire to. Is the place where you have to rake the roof.
And
place even colder than here.
What a day today, though.
Cliffy cut up some firewood. It was great. It was a good vacation.
Nice.
You watched him.
Relaxing.
Did you sit out there at least with him?
No, he was down. So we got the wood. Don't worry about it. It's winter time. We got the wood pile in the cellar, so we don't have to go outside. And he was working that. I was working the crossword puzzle. Don't worry about it.
Working your puzzle.
Yeah, my Sunday puzzle.
Okay. Well,
whose doorstep did you steal the paper from?
It's good to have you back. Almost another day or two.
That's what I'm saying. Is Adam's still on vacation, baby.
Get this car thing settled.
Well, I know you're handing copy to the wrong guy. Yeah. You're showing up half-assed. I mean, let's go, kid. Come on.
All right. Billy Jaffe is here. Of course, you know him from Nesson and his podcast, The Morning Brew, and he is kind enough to join us in studio. And obviously, the game last night was no surprise. They were up 3 goals, then it gets tied at the last minute, and then they lose in overtime. Hooray!
I was Fred contends he would say to anybody within earshot, they're going to lose this game, even when they were up 3-0.
If you were listening and you were in sales and you were in the box last night, you call in and tell me what I said. Or if you're a fan of the show who came up to me, I can prove it. I said, I go, don't worry. This isn't out of hand when it was 3-0. And then when the first goal for Toronto went in, I went, here we go. And then when they pulled their goalie, I go, watch, it's going to get tied. And then it got tied, and then I left.
Okay, when they pulled, after they...
Then you left.
I didn't watch overtime. Why? I got a cab right out in front, too. It was beautiful. If I would have stayed, I never would have gotten that cab. I walked out and got a cab.
Billy,
was out of
there. Beetle and I left with 4 minutes left in Game 7 against the Blues.
remember hearing that.
Listen, don't. I'm not going to laugh.
If you judge, if you have to wake up early in the morning.
First of all, like if you got free tickets to that game, because I'd never pay to see them now. If you got free tickets to a Bruins game, and you were at that game, would you would have stayed for overtime?
Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. First of all, that was if you're. I don't want to analyze the game. It was entertaining as all heck.
Yeah. It was a good game.
It was like I would stay for overtime.
Okay,
but I don't need. I was up not as early as you, but I know what you're saying. All kidding aside, I get it. You wanted to get out of there, but I just figured you invest. I figured if you left with 8 minutes left, okay, I could see that. You left for overtime. That I don't get. Just don't.
Yeah, because I don't care about the team anymore. So, but I do care about what they're going to do. I don't care about what they're on ice. I'm glad they lost, as a matter of fact.
The tough loss. That's not a good. It was. Anyways, okay, go ahead. What do you want?
But that doesn't even rank in the top 10 of tough losses this year.
I don't know about that.
Again,
with how well they played, how freaking well they played for a while.
They do not deserve their games analyzed on this forum. I don't want to do that. I want to look at a macro perspective of this
Okay,
team.
so you want to look up to March 7th. What are they going to do?
Exactly. Okay, start with this. When you hear Sweeney talk before last night, were you convinced that he was willing to build for the future?
Definitely. I'm absolutely thinking that he is looking for an eye towards the immediate and the somewhat future. Absolutely.
Well, you just said both. Why would he be looking for the immediate?
Because if you can actually, here's the thing: if you can figure out a way making a deal. If, you could have some cap space depending on how you utilize some LTIR, not to get too technical, but you could have more cap space. You can utilize that to get back some more assets that maybe can get you. Maybe you take on somebody's contract that they're looking to move from another team and they want a guy, although, you'd have to probably look and trade a guy with term on your team for that too. But maybe you can get somebody back that fills a different role for your team. That it would help.
A young player with term?
Medium-ish, yeah. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there that needs to move some cap space too if the Bruins end up being able to maneuver and make some more room in that way.
But it would be a player that you were taking because they were a detriment to the old team?
Or maybe the other old team wants to get something else instead of what they offer, and maybe they have got a year or two more left.
Give me a hypothetical, then, example of what you're talking about.
I don't have in front. I don't. I have
just
to
in your
through.
brain, think of like a player on the Bruins that you would move. Just give
there's guys with terms. There's guys with term on your team that if you look down the list, you have a goalie who's got a couple of years left in Korpisalo. You've got players in
Carlo
and Coyle. I mean, you can go through a litany. You've got Morgan Geekie, who's a restricted free agent, so that means he's got at least one more year covered.
Okay,
at least. I mean,
so what position would the Bruins want to get back then? Like, explain.
If they're looking to, let's say they feel like we've got right-handed shot centerman, we've got repetitive, then maybe they look to get a lefty, or they add to their D. They move a player that with a little bit of term to a team that says, hey, we can give you this young prospect that could help you right away. Or we have a guy who is signed and we need to move this contract, so we'll get that. And then maybe the Bruins sweeten it, or they sweeten it and they say, we'll give you a draft pick as well.
All right. So, yeah. So that's building for the future then.
Well, both. You could, but you could also take somebody in the present, whether or not that person ends up being long-term here. Maybe they've got a year on their deal too.
So what you're explaining is that, okay, we'll take on that bad contract because we have this cap space, but in order to take on that contract, you're going to have to give
sweeten
us.
it,
You're going
right?
to have to sweeten it with
with future assets.
Right, and maybe it's not per se a bad contract. Maybe that team you're dealing with is saying, look, we need to address this position more than
it's like
what
what the Bruins did with Backus is when they wanted to move Backus and they gave like they wanted to get rid of Backus, and in order to get rid of Backus they had to attach actual things the team would want.
Yeah, so the question's going to be, as you look, today is what, Wednesday? So 9 days from now at 3 o'clock is the trade deadline. You had a player that had been, we know is a UFA to be in Trent Frederick. Don't know what's going to happen there, but what happened last night? Is he injured or not? We don't know. We have no clue. So
if he's injured, that's bad news.
Let's see how that plays out. I mean, that maybe today there will be an update, maybe not. Actually, no, there's no Bruins practice today. Beg your pardon. So they would be tomorrow. To see what that is. Then you look at some of these other players. Look, Don Sweeney was on air pregame last night. He's talked about looking at everything, and he has to, and he's going to listen to everything. And I said, Freddie, the same thing on your show last week. He's going to listen. He has to.
Okay. The big thing is Marchand. And you were nice enough to text me and Hardy during the show yesterday about a player in the past. And we got
Keith
another
Tkachuk.
example, too.
Yeah.
Keith Tkachuk. And I guess there was a guy more recently, I'm sorry, I don't remember, that someone had sent.
Montreal, I think.
Some Montreal situation.
Plekanec, right? Is that the guy?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Plekanec. Thomas Plekanec.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
so the notion would be, even if you want to keep Marchand, move him for the 3 months, put him on a contender. The theory is that there's not a lot of. I'll ask you this first. There's not a lot of teams that are selling at this deadline, probably, right? Given where teams are.
Probably not as many. Yes, I'd agree with that right now. Today.
Right. So if you're selling at this deadline, you're an advantage. This is a seller's
In theory,
market
right now.
So Marchand, do you think that if Marchand was added to a cup contending team, like a top team, he conceivably could be like a Recchi was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, he's still he was pretty damn good last night.
Yes.
He's still what is your number 2 scorer on this team?
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I like Brad personally too. Like I'm saying all this.
I don't see him getting traded.
Okay, but that bothers me. Because.
But what if you? Okay, again, if you want to do hypothetical, what's the return? You've got to make sure. Is this again a deal that you can make bigger than maybe we're thinking, and then you get back bigger? You have to. You're trading an icon. You're trading a guy that I know is a little older, but is still fantastic. Would make a huge difference, I think, on certain type of teams.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's a premium to pay on that.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the offers are.
But Billy, that's not the game we're playing. The game is, would you do it?
If the offer was fantastic, I would absolutely consider it. I still don't know if I would do it. Given, let me finish here. Given that there's uncertainty of if you would get him back, and if you don't get him back, is the next level crew, group, whatever you want to call it, of leaders ready to take this team? You have to be aware, and you have to be careful of blowing it up more than just some. And that's, I know that maybe that's lame ass analysis.
No, it's not. It makes sense because that is true. Like, you don't want to get rid of an important leader because you do want to again contend next year. What would worry me about the counter side of that is that the way Marchand plays, the injury history, and his age. Like, I think that how long is Marchand going to be that guy for your team into the future? You know,
I still think is a hugely valuable asset. I'm going to use 2 years right now.
Okay, fine. So I would, if you get a huge return for 2 years of Brad Marchand, I'm taking that huge return. Like I would trade 2 years of Brad Marchand for a huge return.
I don't know. You got it.
You have to pay the fiddler.
Without question. Without question, you do that.
All right. Can you stick around for a second? Or no?
Sure.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I can't. For you, I will.
All right, because you're being a little.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm still. First of all, befuddled that you left before overtime. Second of all, you're throwing out stuff and you're going out like this. I'm not. I'm just having a good conversation with you.
Right. Okay, because doesn't he? Am I the only one who thinks he seems a little testy?
You seem a little short.
I think he was.
I wound him up a little.
He
bit
was a
before we
little
started.
put off when you said that game last night doesn't deserve to be analyzed. And I think that put him off.
I was more disturbed by the overripe banana that you were eating.
so to speak.
That's what he calls. That's what he calls Jed, our 80-year-old intern's penis. All right.
Thank you, Zoe, for actually stating the actual words of the joke instead of letting just the setup suffice.
Well, you wouldn't call him the banana. It doesn't make it happen.
It's like you never left. It's the same thing.
All right.
Same show.
Yes, I'll say.
There's something about you that makes me like want to squint at things with sunglasses on. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on
as he laid down the law during the break. No, I'm just kidding. But Billy is here. We talked about the idea of trading Marchand. I know the team is hesitant to do it, but it does seem with the lack of team, it just in theory, just by logic, I don't know if this is true or not, obviously, but it's a seller's market, certainly.
More so because of the gaggle of teams that are still in playoff race. Detroit, Columbus, Ottawa. The Rangers win last night. The Bruins get a point. So they're all within 2 points of each other, except Detroit is at 66 points. They won again. So I think now I don't think Montreal, Philly, and the Islanders, Freddie, are really in it anymore. But you still have a group of 5 teams that are around it. Now, and over in the West, you still have, I think you got 4 teams that are around it. So it might whittle down. Let's see what happens the next couple games, not just for the Bees, but for other teams too. But yeah, it feels like it's a little more of a seller's.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the injuries of McAvoy and
Lindholm,
the Bruins aren't making the playoffs. I mean,
it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
you're
look,
right.
the bill has come due. It's been put off for a really long time, and they have to move pieces. Okay, I'll ask you a hypothetical. Would you rather trade Marchand with his expiring contract or a contracted player that you think has a decent future with this team? I know you're hesitant to say names. Let's say like not McAvoy defenseman that you could get a big.
You're not going to
for.
trade. You're not going to trade McAvoy. You're not going to trade Post. You're not going to trade Swayman.
Yes.
So, but I think everybody else is open to discussion.
Okay,
listening.
But my question is this: like,
I mean, again, Fred, hypothetically, if you're going to get a bigger return, perhaps for somebody with a little bit of term left on their contract, I'm leaning that way. Because I think you can get help for the now and for the future. I do. I think you might get a bigger return. I think that. I'm curious to see how long it takes until we had a bevy of a few, remember about 3 weeks ago now?
Big trade.
3 trades, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, and not to get tangent too much here, but the Mikko Rantanen trade that we all thought was going to be enormous, like Carolina, Colorado and all that. Oh my God, that's not going too well. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Carolina flipped him before the deadline again.
Oh, wow.
They haven't signed him. And the rumor is that they offered him, but he's no. And now you've got 9 days before, and if you're not going to re-sign him, what are you going to do? So regardless of that, I think that, I mean, listen, I'm all for everybody, everything being open for Don Sweeney, and I think it is. I think he's open to a lot of things. He talked about it on the air again last night. Just paraphrasing, he's going to be. His phones are going to be open.
But you value Marchand as such an important piece that
I do. That I want to make sure that is a major, big time bonus move for the Bruins before I do that move. That's just how I feel.
Do you think they owe him anything loyalty wise?
I think that there's part of it. I think there's discussion that goes into it. Absolutely, there's a lot of respect. He's an icon of your franchise. He is He's your leader. He's obviously your captain. He's going down. He's going to go down as one of his generation's greats. Absolutely, there should be some loyalty to him and discussion. Again, my take that there should be.
Are there players?
That's an unpopular notion, by the way. When it comes to you're talking about doing what's best for the team and whether something could be done right now in order to help them, even for a couple few years. Like, do you really have to have the players' personal interests in mind? No, you don't have to. Is it the right thing to do? I think it is too.
I would think it is. I would think that you have discussion. You have honest. Brad's a smart guy. He's a really bright guy, and he gets it, and he knows what it means to be a Bruin. We've talked to him about it. We've talked about it on your show, and I think that he's given this franchise a ton, and therefore I think they would give him the respect that he deserves.
Okay, so you're not trading Swayman, Pastrnak, or McAvoy, obviously. Who besides Marchand, who we discussed, in Frederick and Geeky, who are all restricted or upcoming free agents,
Is there anyone that, you cover the league as a whole. Is there anyone on the Bruins that you think other teams would really, really want?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. And again, lame answer, depending on the fit, not even the deal, just with regard to meaning positionally. They've got, I mean, you can.
Like, would people want, well, Hampus Lindholm's out for the season, but would people want Carlo? Like, would you get a big return for Carlo?
Yes, I do.
Their team is
and he
so
has
bad.
terms.
Young defenseman with term that is a legit top 4 guy.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, again, it's when I say I don't like throwing out names, it's only because this is also, I know it's part of the business, but it's also, like, these are people with kids and this and that.
And you're
everything.
around them, and
but
I
that's
understand.
okay. I mean, it's more than that. Yes, being around them is something, but on the other hand, you know what? It's also just out of respect. But there
I
are
don't think
players,
this is a disrespectful conversation, though. I'm just asking if they'd have value.
Yes, they would. They would.
And Coyle, do you think Coyle would have? I'm just going to go. I'll say the names.
Yes, I think.
Do you think
I think
Coyle would have
Zaka would.
value?
Coyle would. Corpusalo would. Geeky does. I mean, Geeky's having another career year. Absolutely. The value, though, is going to be perceived by the team that wants to bring him in to say, hey, I want to use this guy I need him for this third line position. And maybe he's playing a different spot with the Bruins, Fred. But, if I put him into this spot, look at the depth that my team has. I do think, especially given that these guys have term. Absolutely. That carries
I think that the organization owes it to the fan base to start moving pieces this year. Because that's, as you know,
I would
Billy,
be very surprised if they don't.
That's a dead crowd in there. The interest on the Bruins is as low as it's been since 2006, in my opinion. It's almost a disservice to the organization not to make moves at the deadline. And
I can't see them not making some moves, Fred.
Yeah, but not like little, little.
But you might not. But you may have to make moves now that allow you then to do other moves.
Sure.
Come off season.
Sure.
So while I completely understand your desire to see moves, I don't see 8 moves happening right now. But could I see 2 good moves and then some other moves in the offseason based on expiring contracts, or now you go to teams that have done other things that have cap space, and again, cap's going up significantly in the offseason. So that will be something as well. I would be very surprised that the Bruins don't make a couple of what we would call solid to decent-sized moves between now and the offseason.
Yeah, they have to. Well, yeah, they have to shake things up, and you would agree with that. I mean, things have to get shaken up.
They're going to make some moves.
Yeah, and because if you just sit or you screw around and you don't get uncomfortable, like you don't make things uncomfortable, you're gonna lose your fan base, because then you're just gonna become this stagnant bastion of mediocrity that has 3 really good pieces, and then everything else is just like fine. And then you're gonna draft a 17-year-old kid this year, and then you're gonna wait around for 5 years for him to develop. I mean, you got to shake things up. That building's dead.
I didn't think it was dead last night. Did you?
Well, the Toronto fans were loud.
I thought the Bruins fans were loud too. You know, when the building wasn't great, and it's because the Bruins came out with a very poor first period, was the Anaheim game.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing, very disappointing. And while I understand it's off of the Four Nations break, I was very disappointed in that game because of the way the Bruins didn't start the game. You would think that maybe the Marchands, the guys that did play in the event, would be, tired.
Fatigued, yeah.
And mentally, but on the other hand, the other guys I don't know. They were stuck in third gear at most in that game in the first period. It took them a while to get going.
Yeah, you can only fire so many coaches. Tim, go ahead.
So, Billy, Don went out and made a bunch of boo-boos in the offseason. Some of these players couldn't even be, impact. So why isn't he taking, Patra and Lysell and making like a third line, and then combining some of the veteran players up top and finding, a possible top 6 forward?
You're talking, why isn't he bringing up another? Why isn't he bringing up kids? Is that the question? basically. 'Cause
Yeah, Billy. I mean, it seems like an easy fix. You keep marching out the same lineup night after night, and Marshawn year after year can't stand the length of the NHL schedule. It seems to fail every year. Why isn't he using some of these younger players more and get rid of the junk that he got last year? Basically, what I'm saying.
I think after maybe not even up to the trade deadline. Let's see if there are any moves made before then. I think you'll see some players coming up, but Lizel's got 9 goals. It's not like he's got 29 goals there. So he talked last night about being merit based. I do think you'll see him back up. If look, he could be involved in a deal. The Merkulov kids had a nice year down there, but it's and Tim, I'm sure knows this. The caller just chimed in here. Such a different game in the American League versus they're going to have to have to figure out a way though to restock that cupboard of young players. No question about it, guys. No question at all. I get what Tim is asking. I do think you'll see a few kids come up, but on the other hand, let's see how this thing.
On the other hand, these are not great prospects. I mean, the kids that would be coming up are not going to be great.
Are they going to be
NHL
game
players.
changers? We're going to,
no,
right? And so that's the question. I think I get Tim's question, but on the other hand, it's not like they're the tonic that's going to cure all. Coming up.
I don't even. I mean, how many of these kids that are in Providence are going to end up being NHL players?
And that's the thing. Don Sweeney has shown no ability to draft well. Out of the last 7 drafts, how many players have NHL experience? 5 total, and that includes the 1 game by Fabian Lysell. I mean, the guys he's drafting aren't showing up.
They're going to have to get better. There's no question. No question at that. With regard to bringing guys up, I don't see that. Although, again, let's see what happens because, do they need somebody? Again, we won't know on
need
Frederick.
bodies.
Yeah. Brazeau was out last night, so he could take 1 spot. Wallstrom, I think, only played 1 shift in the 3rd last night. So they might need somebody if they want to call somebody up for that. So we'll see. But they definitely, they're going to do stuff. They have to do stuff. There's no question that this team has to get better and deeper.
Yeah, this isn't the Red Sox where you're waiting for the kids to come up. The cupboard is bare. And it's not – look, Sweeney drafted poorly, and they made that huge mistake of keeping 3 picks and whiffing on all of them. But the thing is that, he –
They didn't whiff on DeBrusk.
Now, I will back Billy on that. DeBrusk was a decent 20 to 30 goal scorer there for a few years.
Fine. You turned 3 picks into DeBrusk.
Yes. Zboril and Senyshyn were not good.
All right. So whatever. Fine. I won't argue with you with that. All right. So, but the idea is that he built for the now. And, the team was worthy of that. The team was good.
And they had some unfortunate things like the Rick Nash concussion when they traded for him, and that didn't work out. And they did, they got to the final. The 19 deals were really good, the Johansson and the Coyle deals and everything on that team, except they ended up losing in the final, which it still pains to talk about. But you're right. It's, what do they call it? Pay the piper. It's where they're at. But now they can't be. They're going to have to, between now and the draft, they're going to have to be. This is going to sound contradictory, cautiously aggressive, right? Like, okay, just don't blow it up. You don't want to just blow it up. Trust me, folks, you don't want to. That won't be, but you have to make some deals that will be significant as well.
I know. I just the whole cautiously aggressive thing. That's what everybody does. Nobody goes out there and is
well, no, I mean, but you're going to make some moves. I'd like to actually see them get out ahead of it. Maybe help set the market before March 7th of it, because again,
that'd be nice.
So then maybe help do that. And then
but in this case, that would qualify as aggressive. Yeah, do something early.
Okay.
Do something.
Fine, but what I'm talking about cautious, like you're just not throwing everybody out of here. That's what I'm talking about.
No, but that doesn't happen hardly ever.
I mean, they're not going to do that. I mean, and you said there's 3 untradeable players. There's 3 players that are good enough and important enough that they won't be traded, and that's a nucleus.
Well, this time next week. Well, no, we'll be back. It'll be before the deadline, so maybe we'll have some.
Yeah, hopefully.
Deals to talk about.
All right, Billy. Well, I know you're probably very tired. You did the game last night, and then you recorded the morning brew
with Andrew Raycroft.
Did you skate this morning?
I did.
Attaboy.
I did. You know what? I was going to sleep at like 1 something, and I'm like, am I going to get up at 6? And I said, you know what? I just get the exercise in. Oh, get it over with.
Yeah.
It was outstanding. I wasn't good, but it was outstanding. I got it done. I got stoned by not stoned with, but stoned by like a 60-year-old goalie this morning.
Oh, wait, you guys like play?
What do you think we do? We go out there and what?
Stick
Figure
and
skate?
puck.
No, we play. We have 2 teams. We go out and play.
I didn't know you. I didn't. What? Like I'm an idiot. I didn't know you guys get together at 6 a.m. and play a hockey game.
We play 7 a.m. We do it 7 a.m. A group of guys, great guys. They split up the team.
How many days a week?
I do that 1 day a week, and then I do another skate Thursday morning. So 2 days a week I get on the ice.
No wonder your knuckles are bloody. You dropped them. You dropped them this morning.
Interesting.
All right.
Good
Billy.
to see you guys. See you later.
All right.
Can't you
take it
just
easy.
go low on the 60-year-old? He's not.
Well, that's the
getting down.
problem. He didn't go. He doesn't go to a butterfly except like he flops.
Right.
He goes down. I love the guy. JD's fantastic. Anyway, long story short, I get the puck cross-ice past the middle of the slot, and I'm thinking he's going to go kind of down to the butterfly to slide across. So I'm going to go up, and he stays up like a 1982 goalie, and he catches it, and he gives me a little attitude.
It's
with it
too
as
much
well.
work to get back up. He's not going down.
Oh, no doubt. JD's not. Absolutely. No, we need a crane to get him back up.
All right.
I love you, JD, if you're listening. I'm just kidding. But he did. make a
JD,
great
he's talked really poorly about you
Off the air. He is.
You should hear what he's saying.
It's a whole
about
different
you.
story.
And I mean, the racial stuff is a little out of line. All right, Billy. Thank you
See
so
you
much for
later.
the time. We'll
Yeah.
be back here. The headlines.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics won their 6th straight game last night, 111-101 in Toronto. Jaylen Brown, 24 points. Jason Tatum added 19 to go with 11 assists. And the Celtics are right back at it tonight in Detroit. Grandy and Max had the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. At TD Garden last night, Toronto rallied from down 3-0 to beat the Bruins 5-4 in overtime. Mitch Marner's second goal of the night was the difference. David Pastrnak, 2 goals in the loss. Bruins off tonight. They play the Islanders at TD Garden tomorrow evening. In Patriots news, Mike Vrabel told the media yesterday the roster he has now probably won't look anything like the roster he's going to have at the end of August, and he expects the team to be aggressive in free agency. Executive VP of Player Personnel Elliot Wolf will speak this afternoon in Indianapolis. And the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Atlanta yesterday, 6-1. They play Tampa Bay today at JetBlue Park. Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendricks will both see their first action of the spring. Alex Bregman back in there at third base, hitting second. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Vision. Make 2025 the year you ditch the glasses and contacts and start seeing 2020 with a LASIK procedure from the team at Boston Vision. Book a free evaluation today at bostonvision.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
More Toucher and Hardy on.
day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5. The Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook.
I thought it was the same thing. I thought he was going to when he said he skated, I thought he was literally going out there for a stick and puck, just to go out there and,
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was just a workout.
I don't know
didn't
who's
think
in
it was
their
a game.
40s and 50s that just at 7 o'clock in the morning can just go haul off and start playing hockey. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Billy Jaffe, twice a week.
Well, I mean, Billy Jaffe sacrifices for it. He went to bed at 1 o'clock last night, but he knew he was getting up at 6.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you know who Luigi Mangione is?
Yes.
Okay. He is asking his quote unquote fans, and Luigi Mangione, by the way, is the one who was accused of killing the healthcare CEO.
And you know he's good looking because to be that good looking is, I mean, despite like on camera killing someone, the amount of love going to him from women is insane. I wonder if it's because they can't have him.
Well, he has asked his fans to stop bombarding him with so many photos, many of them nudes. Luigi is allowed to receive photos via Shutterfly and free prints in accordance with mail procedures while in custody. Due to the volume of photos, they could take longer than usual to be screened and shared. He appreciates them and kindly asks that people send more than 5 photos at a time. Please note that every photo that is received is screened and reviewed by law enforcement. So just, a little warning if you're planning on sending him like a dozen nudes. You may, first of all, 5 only, and you may not want to make them nudes because there's going to be a bunch of corrections officers looking at them first.
He will get married in jail. That will happen 100%.
It's a pretty good call.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There's something called Punk in the Park in Denver.
I'm aware.
Do you know who's playing?
I do.
Bad Religion, Descendants, Freddie T, Dropkick Murphys, Pennywise, Circle Jerks. Those are the headliners. That's a hell of a bill.
That is. And the Descendants were touring with the Circle Jerks. So Keith Moore is disturbingly old now. So it's a little bit of a scene for the Circle Jerks. But, yeah, Punk in the Park is if you're our age, that's a great lineup.
And also thank you to Adam 12 for putting in another Lyle Lovett concert announcement, playing the Portsmouth Music Hall. Yeah, he's playing a couple of one show in Lexington. There's one that there's a TBD on it.
Lexington, Mass. It's going to be the Cary Memorial Hall.
Yeah, and there's a Friday night show, but where I would want to sit, there's 2 tickets left, and I can't pull the trigger.
His lap. I mean, you can't get on there.
Cary Memorial. How many seats in there? I've been in that library.
Not many.
Yeah, like 10.
That's probably why the tickets are $500 each.
I was just like 10 seats, and they're all folding chairs.
But $500, you're getting off lucky, because Kendrick Lamar at the Ford Field and Tyler the Creator at the Garden were like $1,000.
Yeah, but the whole point is those venues like that and the Cabin in Beverly, it's supposed to not be an expensive ticket because it's for an act like Lyle Lovett or I know I saw the Elvis Costello tickets up at the.
How much to cut? Because you're being so boring. How much to cut wood at a cabin in Maine?
Free. Just bring your axe.
By the way, when I did the lap joke, John again screeched over. Of course, you don't know what I'm talking about because you didn't listen.
He indicated that I would want to be sitting on Lyle's lap.
He said that the seats I want aren't available, and I said, of course, you can't sit on his lap.
It's my fault for ruining such great comedy. I'm very sorry.
Come up with anything remotely that funny,
I'm not,
dweeb.
Am I teasing you? No, not at all. I think you're being
I'm busting.
Unruly offensive.
I'm kidding, John. I'm joking.
Goodness.
I'm joking. Billy's got me all fired up because of his attitude. It's just not fair.
I wound him up a little before he sat down. I questioned the outdoor game, and he took great.
I wonder if
offense
he's
to
worried he let too much out of the bag.
Oh boy.
Well, he was in
That's
here.
not good. Yeah.
I think he'll be okay.
I mean, he got a little too specific. You know, they're either move guys that have contracts or move guys that won't have contracts.
Cautiously aggressive.
Yeah, that was something else.
Well, yeah, Ben Maller was going off about that the other morning, too. It's like how much he hates that. It's like, yes, that's what every team in every sport tries to do. You want to get the player, but you're not going to be stupid about it. You want to be cautiously aggressive. Yeah, that's not any kind of theory to subscribe to or to hold yourself to. No, that's just what you do. That's called free agency and building a roster. I'm not yelling at Billy. I'm just yelling at if that is what you're going to hang your hat on. We're being cautiously aggressive. Oh, are you? Well, what a novel concept.
Yeah, you want to do some things that are effective, but you don't want to make mistakes.
Oh, wow, that's good. That's smart. You're good.
Wow, that's so. I mean,
We want to be aggressive in free agency, but pick the right people.
Yeah, that too.
And guys that are gonna be good in the community.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all I got to say. Yeah, I mean, I just
talk to your guy Vrabel. That's what he wants.
Yeah, try not
in the community.
Maybe draw the line at murder. That might be a good thing for you to do. You know, maybe that could be good. When you scout a kid and everyone tells you that there's 1,005 red flags.
Yeah.
And that he's involved with gang activity.
Maybe teams that don't have him on their boards at all. Maybe not take him in the fourth round.
Yeah, that might be a PR. You know, you might get a couple good years out of him, but then it's a real PR mess.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be stories written.
Yeah, and then you're bringing him into your city where he will actively kill, which is also a problem.
That's a problem.
Or he could be killing somewhere else.
Killing your own fans.
You would have to assume. You would have to assume he's doing it in town. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
President's